across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, so Andre's took a bit of a turn at what he's ended up looking like.
I'm looking a bit pasty.
Out, he's shrunk.
Do I need to shout and be northern?
Apart from that, he's exactly the same. Yeah, it's me and Phil David.
Yeah.
I only just found out 30 seconds ago.
I'm really sorry.
It's all right. No, it's great. So you've just come from down the local.
I have, yeah. I thought I was going to... Well,
Finsbury Park was the word on the street.
Finsbury Park, yeah. Finsbury Park, a great place called the Brownwoods. It's good. It was a really nice pub. But to be honest with you, I thought that was my evening over with, and now here I am.
Yeah, here you are. It's only just begun.
Yeah.
And so,
but it's nice to be here, though.
And happy St George's Day, everybody.
Yes.
Happy St George's Day.
Look, I've got my rose on and everything.
Well, he's appointed new members of the Order of the Garter, just because Andrew Mountbatten-Battenberg has got to go, because the new knights are historian, academic Peter Hennessy. So I think I've heard of him. He's Lord Hennessy of Nymphsfield.
But did you know that Mountbattenberg has lost his garter? I'm not surprised.
I didn't know. Well, he's lost everything, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's lost his... He can't even wave at people when he's horse riding anymore.
Can he not?
No,
he could get in trouble with that.
They got annoyed, Charles did, and said, no, stay back a bit, you know what I mean? So, hasn't he had to leave that Grace and Favour place?
Has he? No, he's gone now, surely.
Has he gone? I don't know. I thought he was barricaded in. Anyway, King Charles had his younger brother, Mountbatten-Windsor, removed from the Order of the Garter. It ended an honour that the former prince had been given in 2006 following his removal from the order. Because Tony Blair got in it only after the Queen died, because she didn't like Tony Blair, because he got rid of the royal yacht Britannia, and there were other things as well with the...
Are you a secret member of the Order of the Garter? I think you'd imagine you would be.
I can't say, but you have to... John Major is, which is a bit...
He?
Yeah, I remember, because you get it for life, and then you walk around with these...
Well, clearly not, if Mountbatten-Windsor's anything to go by.
Well, you wear a garter, and it's like stockings and suspenders, high heels, and then they all walk around in a circle. It's a very important role in the... I know it seems weird to us, but that's perfectly natural where they come from. Anyway, look, give us a ring on this St George's Day, 03444 We've got a clip about Keir Starmer explaining to us about the flag.
Oh, this was great,
how it sort of it causes division. Actually, flags are meant to cause division. That's the whole point of a flag is to say, you know, you're British or you're American. It's what division you're in, effectively.
Well, this is the most English I think I've ever heard Sir Keir Starmer. I'm quite excited by that. Have we got this?
Have we got it? Let's have a look at our unbelievable Prime Minister.
Fly our flag proudly. It's our flag. It belongs to us, and we will fly it for the values that we believe in, and they're the values of the people I've named in this room tonight, the people who step up for their communities, who want to bring people together, who reject the division that others want to inflict on us. They are English values: service, generosity and respect. And that's why I love this country so much, because that is us, that is our values, that is what we fight for, that is what the flag truly represents. And when we stand together, united in our communities, we are stronger than any challenge that is thrown at us.
Well, there you go. That's the British Prime Minister there.
They're trying to make us like the, they had this celebration in London, and they make us like the sort of American, Native Americans on the reservation. You know, they have the pearly queens, pearly kings and all that, and they go, oh, look, isn't that quaint, the sort of old English, old British sort of thing, isn't it?
I couldn't imagine it.
We're written into history.
Starmer wearing a pearly jacket, though, could you?
No, well, not unless Lord Ali bought it for him.
Maybe. Yeah, oh no, that's true. If he was giving it as like a free gift...
It'd be a nice one as well. It'd be really proper real pearls on that, wouldn't it?
No, it'd be nice, yeah. But anyway, do you know what? I've got to give credit where it's due. The truth is, actually, that's the most English I've heard Starmer being. And I don't mean English, obviously I know he speaks English, but I mean in terms of actually sort of the garble that comes out of his mouth normally, I actually think that is without doubt the most English.
I didn't actually hear it, because now when he talks, my mind blocks it.
No, it's definitely like white noise. It's no doubt about it.
I don't know what he's saying, but I know it's a lot.
But he's claiming responsibility, claiming ownership of the St George's flag. He said those who want to use it for division. Now, of course, he's having a subtle dig at the people he would call far right. I'd call them patriotic, but he'd call them far right.
As I say, that's what it's there for. It's there for division. It's there to say this is the British. It's your trademark, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's actually saying this is the division you're in. That's your division. He's Japanese. He's got that flag. So we all know where we are. But they try and denigrate our culture and tear away all the foundations of it, aren't they? That's what they're doing, and we can see it. And the thing is, it'll be remembered as, You know, he's going to be remembered as a liar, as dishonourable, as a coward, as weak. I mean, is this what he wanted in life? And now we look at what he's...
You could write his dating ad.
He was the head of the CPS for many years as well, so it makes you worry about what decision. Now we look at what happened there, you know, with Jimmy Savile and the rape gangs. You think, well, what's going on here?
Well, to be honest, we've got to worry about all people in positions of power. And for goodness sake, look at what we learned about Lord Hermer in the past 24, 48 hours.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, this is the guy. I mean, why would you join the army if you're a young man when you've got people in the government acting against you and will threaten you for years and years? These poor old SAS geezers, you know, not that old, but they've had like years of hell just because of this. It was obvious lies, and there were emails going around going, this is a bit... And it's all very, very suspect. And he's representing us and giving away the Chagos Islands and giving the super embassy. And it's unbelievable, isn't it, Phil? I mean, is it going to come to an end? Have we got to wait 3 years? Is Miliband going to come in or Rayner? I don't think Rayner's got a chance. But you never know now.
Well, I mean, look, let's be honest. Miliband wanted to be leader of the Labour. He was the leader of the Labour
Party. But he failed. I mean, you never normally get another... I mean, Neil Kinnock got another go, but you don't get brought back in as Prime Minister when you've failed to win the public...
That's true, but you think Boris Johnson got pretty close, didn't he, with Conservatives? You think, I know he never did, but if you think about it, they were like sort of people who were saying after Boris went, oh my God, we made him a terrible mistake, can't bring back Boris, and of course it never happened.
They did make a mistake, although he made a massive mistake.
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, the
he
truth
was useless,
is, the
but
Boris wave,
that was a coup as well.
All of it.
That was a coup, wasn't it? Where, you know, he gets done for eating cake, and then Starmer, drinking beer, and that in Durham it was, said, oh, there was only 5 people, and there was 60 people. And goes, oh, yeah, oh, Rayner wasn't there. Oh, yeah, she was there. And then he gets away with it. And then the woman, what was her name?
The woman?
The woman who then got the head of press for Labour Party, you know, the civil servant, and then she had, her son got a sitting...
What, Sue Gray?
Sue Gray, yeah. And her son got a safe Labour seat.
Yeah, oh, it's funny that. I wonder how that happened.
I mean, this was a coup in front of our very eyes, and now he won't go for it all. Not eating cake, doing terrible things.
Yeah. Oh no, it's just terrible. Honestly, you actually sort of have to genuinely. It begs the question, like, who is running the UK? I mean, say running. They're not running it at all. But that's why I say that clip really baffled me, because actually although I know that you can sort of interpret words in different ways, and clearly what he was saying in that clip that we had just heard from Starmer, he was interpreting it in such a way as if to say, well, we know that the far right have taken over this flag, but we want it back. So you know that's what he was getting at. But at the same time, I actually think that the noises he was making were borderline patriotic.
Really? Yeah, as I said, I didn't really hear what he was saying.
Well, I'm not surprised,
just a white,
really,
like you say, white noise.
I don't blame you, really.
But yeah, 03444991000, give us a ring. This is another story. Asylum Street. Government sneak illegal migrants into Semi in Leafy, Surrey, which locals only found out when one is held for harassing girls.
Yeah.
I think it is. Anyway, residents and councillors say they knew nothing about placing asylum seekers 200 yards from the local primary school. A £500,000 cottage in Laleham, Surrey, is being used as an HMO for illegal migrants. I mean, it's unbelievable. There was a horrendous story today about that rape in Brighton.
Oh God!
It's all going to get.
It's just
I saw it
ridiculous.
on Kev's show. It's all going to get worse. Illegal quirk means hundreds or even thousands of properties across the country could be switched without proper oversight to HMOs. You know, they'll gloss over any problems, won't they, and just pass it all through. One parent who declined to be named told The Sun, it's mind-boggling. I just don't understand why you would put asylum seekers in the middle of a tiny village where there's nothing to do and nowhere to go. The thing is, they don't care. That's ultimately what it is.
No, totally nothing. And this couldn't be more of 2 fingers up to the British public if you tried. Is you just say, well, we know that you might object to... And actually, this actually demonstrates it, doesn't it? The fact that locals only found out after the event goes to show that they would go out of their way to deliberately conceal these kind of things because they know it's going to cause uproar. So actually, this makes it even worse that they know people don't want this because of the reaction they've seen from the public. But they say, oh, to hell with you. We don't care what you think. We're going to do it anyway.
Well, and they celebrate. I mean, they don't read the room. The hotels, they're saying, oh, look, we've got rid of loads of hotels, but they've just moved them in next door to everyone.
Well, OK, so no, that's true. They've got rid of the hotels, but all they've done is they've shuffled them out into
which is actually more dangerous because you don't know. They're all over, scattered now. Do you know what I mean? At least there was some security.
The hotels were boarded up.
Yeah, but unbelievable. Anyway, let's go to Grace in London. Grace.
Hi. I just want to say in advance, I apologise for having offended Phil in the past. I know that he dislikes...
What did you say?
Oh, Grace, you give me far too much credit to remember these. I don't remember what I did yesterday.
Tell us what you do so you can remind him of how he was offending
Go on, offend me again. I don't mind.
I don't know what it was, but last time I spoke and you were on the programme, you were yawning while I was talking, which indicated that you don't
he was just bored. He wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't offended. I was just sleepy.
He was tired.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining. I'm just sorry that I'm irritating, because I'm very aware that I am an irritating person.
Grace, you are not in the least bit irritating.
Grace.
But,
not at all.
And happy St George's Day to both of you.
And you too.
Happy St George's Day.
I think that clearly symbols end up meaning different things to different people. So being the weirdo I am, I think it's actually ultimately a cross. That's why, George had a cross, because he was following Jesus and Jesus died for our sin. But most people think of it in a completely different way. And therefore, for Starmer to say it means this thing and all you other people over there, you've got the wrong idea, and to try to attribute motives to people, it's just not very constructive. It's almost straw manning. It's kind of saying, you people over there, you obviously think this, you're obviously racist. It doesn't win anyone over. He should have learned after the summer riots, when he made those comments and a lot of people were not pleased with what he said. He should have learned.
He'll never apologise, though, and if he did that, he'd have to admit he was wrong, and he'll never do that. He's a weak, spineless coward.
Well, I'm conscious of the people that he's concerned about. There are some people who are racist and who are using the flag in a way that's not helpful. But for him to kind of be so critical and angry in the way that he talks, he's going to lead some people to presume that he's talking about them, and they're going to feel upset. It's just not constructive. It'd be better for him to concentrate on things that people actually do have in common, and not try to make out that he's more righteous than some other people who are of a different political...
Would you like him to go, and who would you like to replace him? Because they're all worse. The people to replace him are worse. So what would you do, man?
I do think he should go for a variety.
Well, who would replace him then?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think I'd prefer Wes Streeting.
We need a general election, don't we? Because that's what we need.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, can I ask you? Obviously, I know full well that you're very loyal to your faith of Christianity. Correct me if I'm wrong on that front. So, what is it that you think? When there's two things I want to ask, based on the fact that obviously the St George's cross flag is obviously based heavily on Christian symbolism, but then also when you've got this constant message coming from the political elite of divide and conquer and division. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Christianity, from my understanding of it, is all about unity and peace and love. And I just suppose I want to know how it makes you feel when you sort of see the very embolism of Christianity, which of course is the backbone of our country's flag, how it makes you feel.
You're so right. Yeah, you make such a good point. You make such a good point. I do find it a bit incongruous, because when I think about the cross, I think that Jesus died because of our wrongdoing, and so we should be grateful that we're offered forgiveness through it, but we should be humble. And so people being all kind of proud and let's divide and conquer, it is the opposite of the original meaning. And I don't know, I guess ultimately I'm very aware that people have the right to decide what their views and politics are going to be. They've got absolutely no responsibility to agree with me about Christianity at all. But it does feel a bit... a bit incongruous and a bit peculiar, and I don't think that certain politicians making comments, including Starmer, are really helping. And I worry that everyone's becoming a bit more divided, and everyone thinks, well, I'm in the better tribe, and those other people are horrible people, and we're just all getting more angry with each other. I think we actually agree on more than we realise. But it sells more. And that
was our latest hit from Grace. Well, we've got to take... Should we put it back? Sorry, Grace, I like doing that. Carry on, Grace. Sorry. Carry on. But we've got a breaky soon, so carry on, Grace.
You scared her off now. She's gone now.
Good. 0344 499 1000. But call us again, Grace. But we've faded you out like an old 70s record. We've got Robert Bates from the Centre for Migration Control.
My God, yeah, this new deal that we've struck up with France, we're going to give them another 660 million quid potentially. Yeah, that's a bargain, isn't it?
Back after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. Look, it's Phil, Dave. Dave's here, Dave. Andre's off, he's got the lurgy or something. Yeah. We don't know what's
Well, I suppose
wrong.
We should be quite pleased he's not here if he's got the lurgy, really.
Well,
yeah, he could be giving it to the rest of us, couldn't he?
Very considerate indeed.
So last night I ended the late show when I was covering for Petrie, basically saying that, you know, that I don't know...
Did she have one of her turns?
No, she was just taking a very well-earned week off. But anyway, so it was arranged a while ago that, you know, that she was going to be off. But anyway, I sort of said at the end of last night's show, I said, I don't know when I'm next back on Talk, but you know, whenever it is, I've got to be really careful what I wish for, because now I'm here again.
Yeah, you never know. You know, if he's still got it tomorrow, you might be here tomorrow. Anyway, riot train police will be sent to beaches in France as part of a new £662 million deal with the UK to stop illegal migrants from crossing the English Channel. All right, that's a bargain. Apparently that would work out. We could just 300 grand per boat, so we could just stop the boats for less than that.
Or we could send in the Navy. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, they're shepherding them in, aren't they? Home Secretary Shabana Mahmoud signed a 3-year agreement with the French on Thursday, which will see at least 50 police officers trained in riot and crowd control tactics, drafted in to tackle violence. And so they're not normally hostile. They just get in the boat and go, and then the French take them to whoever it is, the RNLI or whatever, and then they get brought over anyway. We've got Robert Bates from the Centre for Migration Control. Make sense of it, Robert, if you can.
Evening, Robert.
Hi there.
Evening, both. Well, look, the last 700 million that we sent to the French was clearly worth every penny when you consider, you know, tens of thousands coming across last year. So what the Home Secretary has clearly decided to do is send another 600 million to the French checkers. So I think, unfortunately, this is the Home Secretary stuck in a rut that seems to pervade Whitehall, which sees as the only answer to the problems, the small boat crisis, being getting the French involved, giving the French more and more and more, because eventually maybe they'll actually finally decide to pull the finger out. You know, sending these 50 chaps to the French beaches. Well, there are already French police officers on the beaches, but what they're doing is sitting there twiddling their thumbs and watching.
Well, now the Belgians have won a piece of the action, and now they're delivering them down to the French beaches, and the French are taking them over here. I mean, have you heard about this sort of thing that's going? Because Belgium were all right, we'd sorted it out with Belgium, but now apparently not.
Well, they probably see a chance to make money out of us, don't they?
They have 8 to a room migrants, you know, with gruel to eat and nothing, no benefits or anything like that. So what's going on with Belgium and...
Well, that in a way is just because there's such a burgeoning trade at the moment. You know, there's almost more migrants than there's people smugglers are able to keep up with. So therefore, there's new routes opening up, and individuals are now making crossings from Belgium as well. But I think basically this all boils down to why are individuals so desperate to come to Britain? And the very simple fact of the matter is that our pull factors are so delightful that it is worth making the crossing, even if there is a small risk of you getting sent back.
You'd be mad not to. If you know, you can't blame them. It's our authorities. We'd all do the same. You're living in some hut somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or you're living in France, you know, in some tent city. Of course, you're going to come here for full-style luxury, 50 quid a week, a phone, all your dental, lawyers.
This is why it's such bunkum when successive governments say, "Oh, we're determined. We're going to do all we can to stop these boats. We're going to clamp down."
They're lying. They're just lying, and it's as if they're
rubbish. It's because they're making it too attractive to come
here. But what is
the
reason? It's like they're trolling us. It's like they're trying to cause a breakdown in society. Have you thought about why they're doing this?
Well, they say we're doing everything we can, but they've got these self-imposed limits on what they think is palatable and what is somehow beyond the pale. And for far too long, politicians have seen basic common sense ideas like leaving the ECHR and the straitjacket that has imposed on our ability to remove individuals as something that is just simply not palatable. You've now got the Tories pretending that they've always been very pro-leaving ECHR and speaking very stridently. Of course, it was them that cobbled together the Rwanda plan, the deportation to Rwanda plan, that might have in premise worked if you could actually remove the individuals to Rwanda.
Yeah,
but, you know,
but I'm sorry, Robert. Robert, we all know that I'm afraid the ECHR is just used as a pathetic excuse, exactly the same way David Cameron chose to ignore the ECHR when it came to giving prisoners the vote. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's absolute rubbish.
You can't ignore it.
I'm not saying for you. It's rubbish that the government is saying this.
On national security reasons, you can ignore it. And we found out one of these rapists in Brighton was actually a murderer on the run from Egypt. Now, they can find that out after when there's a court case. Why couldn't they find that out before? And it's ruined a woman's life, and this is being multiplied across the country with the... people are.
And this is the question, how many of the tens of thousands of men that are pouring across the borders do have these similar backgrounds? It's only when they actually get encountered by the police force and by the judicial system in this country that we realise, actually, oh God, this guy's been doing X, Y, and Z.
Well, we're getting the dregs, aren't we? Because if you're successful in that country, you'll stay there. We're getting the people who are either on the run or not doing very well or criminals. Of course, it's going to attract the wrong sort. We're not getting the engineers and the doctors, that's for sure.
Well, no, I think we're still waiting on the engineers and doctors, and I think actually, the Green Party's suggestion that somehow we should be encouraging these flows and opening up safe and legal routes so even more individuals can come to Britain is a complete absurd suggestion, and it's based on really just masking any economic, fiscal or social common sense with these real vacuous platitudes about love and peace and everyone coming to Britain and offering, huge value. The simple fact of the matter is these individuals coming across the boats, most of them will cost us hundreds of thousands of pounds over their lifetime. We're removing far too few of these individuals.
And they bring family. Some of them, once they get in, will bring 5, 6, 7, sometimes up to 20 family members.
And then they'll start having family here as well, and then it starts complicating matters.
And they won't, like you say, they'll be on benefits. We're already a net loss with benefits to income tax now. So the economy is going to fail. The backbenchers are holding Starmer to ransom, but eventually it's all going to come crashing down. How long before it does, the economy crashes down and we have to wake up to the reality?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. If there's actually $1 million,
$3 trillion, isn't it?
Unfortunately, this is everyone can see the big, bright, flashing red lights. Apart from, it seems, the people that are actually in the cockpit. And migration is a huge part of this problem, whether it be legal or illegal. It's pretty much upstream of all the huge problems that are facing this country, whether it be the housing crisis, whether it be the sheer ridiculous fiscal position that we are in. We can't afford 1.3 million foreign nationals to just be sat around claiming universal credit in this country. If they're not even British citizens, why are we giving them this money? But then you've also got the sort of productivity lie. Everything really can be linked to this.
And the dangers of it.
Totally. But actually, do you know what, Robert? I'm sorry, but if the three of us here sat around just having a chat about this evening can blatantly see this, why is it that you think that our authorities can't? And, you mentioned as well about the Green Party and their absurd pledges and stuff like that if they ever, heaven forbid, get into government. What am I missing here? Why is it that we can see it and clearly they can't?
Well, I want to know as well, why aren't the media actually scrutinising some of the extremism that we have seen from the Green parties, especially the immigration policy? Anyone arrive in Britain, they don't even need a visa, and then they arrive here and they get given British citizenship straight from the off. This is absolute madness that would literally destroy this country and any semblance of us actually being a sovereign territory if the whole world can become a British citizen. I think it's unfortunately, to answer your earlier question, I think it's because we've got the OBR, we've got the Treasury, we've got a whole raft of non-governmental bodies sort of advising ministers and civil servants and telling them, no, everything's good. We just need a bit more migration. Everything will sort itself out. Just keep going with the migration and eventually we'll hit these sunlit uplands. And because politicians are so spineless these days, don't actually have a set of values apart from their own self-aggrandizement, they're all too happy to go along with this official advice because it helps keep them secure and say, oh, well, I was just following.
Well, that's why they're joining the EU, so they can, not have a responsibility. Plus this lot, they're pretty sure they won't be around in 3 years, so they're sort of quite spiteful and bitter. It wouldn't surprise me that they want to destroy the country.
Well, it feels that way, and it feels like they're destroying it with a smile on their face because they're doing so to advance their own ideas of internationalism. Anything that's not pro-British, effectively, is what this Labour government stands for. Whether it be even dabbling with the idea of reparations, the Chagos deal, human rights law taking precedent over the safety and well-being of British citizens. Everything seems to be putting the people that are actually paying the salaries of those in government, putting them last and putting anyone else first. And I think it's a real sickening state of affairs. And I really do hope come 2029 we see the back of the Labour Party once and for all.
Will it be too late, though?
Yeah. I mean, the good news is Mahmoud's given France a year, haven't they?
Oh, good.
Yeah. And Mahmoud has given France 1 year to solve the crisis. They haven't really managed to solve it so far, so I don't know what you think is going to change in a year.
No, and I don't know what happens at the end of that year either.
No, quite.
Right, you've got 1 more year this time, 1 more year this time.
Exactly.
In the meantime, 40,000 individuals coming across a year unvetted and being put in communities where they can wreak the terror that we have unfortunately seen in Brighton being reported today. I think it's an absolute sickening state of affairs, kicking the can into the long grass. We simply can't afford actually to be twiddling our thumbs, waiting for maybe the June buggy that we've just sent the French to somehow be able to stop what feels like an invasion coming across the English Channel. This is ridiculous, small fry measures to solve something that actually just needs clear, decisive messaging from the government. If you come to Britain illegally, you're being detained and you're being deported. Straightforward, end of. They will eventually get the message and stop coming.
Yeah, of course, and it would be easy to stop it. I spoke to some military expert, one of the ones that we have on, I can't remember which one, but he said you could actually do it, you know, with drones, automated drones, about 30 drones along the whole coast. It could easily pick it out, stop it, and then within a week, when they found out they're throwing their money away and they're not going to get here, that would be the end of the whole problem, like Australia, basically.
And not to mention, I'm not being funny, but if you were to put like some sort of battleship, I mean, not that we can actually get battleships successfully out of port.
We haven't got one,
yeah, it's no good. But if you could get a battleship patrolling the channel, and actually sort of, if you had some sort of massive warship staring you in the face when you're on a tiny dinghy, you're not seriously telling me that people are going to try and pass that, right? Because I wouldn't if I had some sort of massive armament staring me in the face.
But we wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
we don't
it'd be a big difference in the RNLI waiting there, rubbing their hands, ready to take those individuals onto the Kent beach. And I'm increasingly of the view, actually, that there maybe is a point where Britain does have to start sending our vessels into French waters and turning these individuals.
But they were using the Navy. I remember a couple of years ago at the beginning, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they turned their transponders off and were actually the Navy were bringing in migrants.
Waiting on the midway line for them effectively to shepherd them across, and then it's a happy handover, a handshake, maybe, you know, have a cup of tea at the halfway line, and then they come.
But they say it's dangerous to actually stop them then. So, but I don't get it. If they're handing them over, then why can't they just say, take them back to? It doesn't make sense, does it? And we know there just isn't the will. It's not just the will. They actually want this to happen.
Yeah, I think they do. And I think they are, unfortunately, increasingly in cahoots, almost just frozen with terror of wanting to do anything different now at this point. I think that process itself, actually, on the ground itself, is now sort of so ingrained as to the way it's done. I think, actually, unless they start getting sent very clear signals from the government or from the powers that be that actually there is a need to change the approach to this, I think they're very happy to just keep going down this route. And I do think sending British vessels into French waters now, as soon as these vessels are taking off, because the French are sitting there, we've seen the footage, the French are sitting there watching the individuals boarding the vessel, still in very shallow
water. Some of them are helping them on. We've actually seen the footage of them helping them on the dinghies. Yeah. Can I just say, just very quickly, so you mentioned about the RNLI, and I think we've got to be fair to RNLI. Obviously, their job is to save lives when people are in peril at the sea. So, I mean, I don't think we can have too much of a go at them, but I most certainly have a go at successive governments for not sending in sort of individuals like the Navy, who, of course, its job is to patrol our waters.
Shouldn't the RNLI say it's not for people who force their, you know, who make their own danger by being ridiculous, and say it's the government's responsibility?
Well, I might say that, but that's not the founding of the charity, is it? But I mean, I know what you mean. But I mean, I don't personally agree with the idea of bringing these illegals over here. Believe me, I'd do anything to stop it.
And we give them back the boats, and we give them back the life jackets. I mean, we should be cutting them up.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As soon as the dinghies get over here, we should be slashing those dinghies and making sure they never take to the water again.
Each one's got like £250,000 worth of cargo on it.
Oh, goodness me. Anyway, it's ridiculous.
So, are you a pessimist?
I do think they get given slightly an easier ride. I do think, actually, you know, they have got a big budget, and if they were really concerned about, you know, saving their lives, I think, you know, start doing some messaging on the French beaches for crying out loud. Start making people aware.
They've been captured like every institution. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter, RNLI, all this, like, they're all captured, and they're all, you know, not really working in the way that they were imagined to. Yeah. I mean, it's the same with the Human Rights Act. This is what we started, the Human Rights Act. Churchill, he didn't envisage it being, you know, abused like this for an invasion of our own making.
For decades afterwards anyway. We always were at arm's length until Tony Blair, on his sort of rampage of destruction of the British Constitution, decided to get it well and truly in primary law. So this was, again, a new Labour hangover. And I think actually not enough is actually still made of the point that Tony Blair has, from root to branch, destroyed this country in so many ways. And it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of concerted desire to set back what was a pretty tranquil and well-operated ship until he came along. But I think when it comes to how do we get the message across to those individuals on the French beaches, it has to be very clear that, you know, it is going to be a very, very swift departure from the Kent beach to an immigration detention facility, and then there will be a plane within 24 hours to take you back either from where you've come from or to a third country like Rwanda, and you're saying Britain will be measured in hours, not in months and years, as seems to be the case.
Well, it should be, if you break in, you shouldn't be...
I was going to say, you'd never be granted asylum, simple as, really.
Exactly, you know what I mean? If you break in, there was that law they brought in, and you shouldn't get asylum.
Robert Bates, thank goodness for people like you who are sort of basically the voices of common sense, and we really do appreciate your efforts. Robert Bates, the research director at the Centre for Migration Control, they're having a chat with Ash and with me here this evening. Now, coming up in just a moment. We're very
what are we doing, man? What's going on?
We're going to be
man?
having a chat.
But give us a ring as well, 03444991000.
Yeah, totally.
What were you saying?
Well, we're going to have a chat with Orla Minihane, who's a spokesperson for Pink Ladies. So we've been speaking about, obviously, the whole debacle of the old migrants coming over, but what about when they're actually here and being shoved into suburban semis?
It's terrifying, isn't it, if you've got a child, you know what I mean?
Well, Orla's going to have a chat with us about that, so we're very much looking forward to it. 0344 499 1000. It's the Late Show here on Talk. He's Asher Gould, I'm Phil Dave, and hopefully you'll stick with us. Dave.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, it's Talk. Look, Dave's here, Phil, Dave, and now we're going to go straight...
We're just having a nice chat, don't we?
We're having a little chat all about stuff that's going on. You know, where is everyone? Ian Collins, by the way, is on breakfast tomorrow. It's all over the place, like a mad woman's breakfast.
It's exciting.
Anyway, we're going to talk now. But the government have sneaked illegal migrants into Semi in Leafy, Surrey, which locals only find out when one is held for harassing girls. This is in The Sun. £500,000 cottage in Laleham, Surrey is being used in an HMO for illegal migrants. Angry locals only found out about the Home Office's secret plan after one migrant was held for harassing girls. And the move in Laleham, Surrey is part of the government drive to take migrants out of hotels. Developers, sorry, that's my knee. The legal quirk means hundreds or even thousands of properties across the country could be switched without proper oversight. They're changing the planning permission to make it easier. Anyway, let's talk to Orla Minihane, spokesperson for the Pink Ladies. Hi, Orla.
Hi, how are you? Hi, guys, how are you?
We're all right.
Incensed, absolutely, if I'm honest.
And you're a spokesman, spokesperson for the Pink... well, we should just keep spokesman. It's all woke to us.
Spokesperson.
Spokesperson. We're not... sorry, okay, we don't want to be woke.
So what's your view on this, and what have we got to do about this?
Right, so, I mean, we've been protesting for so long now, every week, every day. You know, we've got a big protest tomorrow at the Home Office. It is so absolutely unfair, disgusting, you know, putting our children and our women at risk. Yeah. You know, let's be clear about this. Labour have said this week that they are closing down the hotels like it's a win. We're closing down 10 hotels a week. The thing is, those men are being moved from those hotels and they are being put into HMOs in people's villages and towns next door to families, next door to schools, zero safeguarding. So they're literally taking these men from a contained space and putting them in homes in beautiful areas.
But Orla, we know why they're doing this, because it wasn't that long ago that the government said, they came out and said that the villages and countryside of the UK are not diverse enough. So this actually kills two birds with one stone, because it's a win-win for them. They get to say they've shut down the migrant hotels, which they haven't, as you say, they've just moved them elsewhere in the country.
That's actually worse.
And then what they do is that they're trying to shatter some of our green and pleasant land.
Well, sometimes it's more than the actual population of the village is moved in.
I mean, just on that, there's a lady that I spoke to in Inverness So, you know, in the Highlands of Scotland, and she said there are people in her village, they have never left the village. They've lived there all their lives. They've lived a very insular life. And then suddenly they've taken 400 men and dumped them in a camp just outside this village. These people have never, ever mixed with anybody before. How dare to take away the safeguarding and the sexual assaults and the rapes and everything else? How dare they do that to a community?
Hundreds of years of culture, or maybe millennia of culture. And
that's what they're trying to destroy.
But it's a form of ethnic cleansing, isn't it?
Yes.
Because, you know, we've seen it in the East End of London. That's been ethnically cleansed of the Cockney. I mean, you know, they won't say it because, of course, it's not politically correct to say that white people can get ethnically cleansed.
No, well, it's like
that's what's going to happen.
Well, it's like Sir Jim Ratcliffe when he was saying about colonisation. I'm sorry, I think you've got to look at it as there's some truth to that. How could you not?
Yeah, but we've invited them here. We're the ones.
But you know, I can't tell you guys the amount of stories, or not stories. That's wrong because they're not fabrication. They're true. The amount of accounts of abuse, sexual assault, rapes that we don't hear about.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it?
They're covered up, and these girls are going home to their parents. The parents are going to the police, and they are being absolutely hushed. It is
because they've lost control.
Outrageous.
Do you think that's why they're doing that? They've lost control. I mean, they could actually stop it, but is it because they're weak? Why are they not doing anything about it rather than trying to arrest the people and cover up on the internet what's going on?
You know, ultimately, we see these, you know, the HMOs, the camps, the hotels, everything, you know, and they're talking about we're going to shut the hotels, we're going to move them, but every day there are still hundreds of men, not families, men coming across the river. So ultimately they can't deal with the situation because they're still letting them in. So the situation is getting worse and worse and worse. And have you ever heard once Starmer bring up the sexual and the rape epidemic the sexual assault and rape epidemic we've got in this country? Not once.
Not once. Well, because of course he wouldn't. I mean, I saw in London it had gone up something like 400% in 20 years or something like that. Do you know the figures?
Yeah, it's well, put it this way, but in 59 days, across January and February, in 59 days, there was 1,435 rapes reported in London.
And that's reported. So you could probably double that or even more multiples of it because a lot of people won't.
That's it. The sexual assault and rape numbers have gone up by 400%. So when Sadiq Khan talks about, it's the safest city in the country, it's outrageous. We know that there are rape gangs operating in London. We know that there's trafficking. We know all of these things, and we know who the predators are mainly. But anytime you mention it, you get called every name under the sun.
Is there no legal recourse, like a judicial review into this? I mean, we've got so many stories. You can say this girl was raped, this bloke was murdered. I mean, there's thousands. Can there not be any legal case done about their human rights and their responsibility to protect the British people, which is their number one?
Well, the fact is, all we hear about is the ECA chart and how these men have got, you know, their human rights. How about our human rights? How about the human rights?
Yes, that's 100%. The number of times I have said that when they use these revolting excuses of human rights. In fact, I was speaking out on the Late Show even last night or the night before, and there was some disgusting excuse of an individual who was a failed asylum seeker. Let's get our heads around this. Failed asylum seeker was allowed to stay in Britain because he could not be deported back to his native because it would be on the grounds of that he could be tortured and it was a breach of his human rights. What about our human rights? What about the British people's human rights to live in safety, peace and harmony and not have to tolerate mixing with these disgusting, degenerate individuals who think it is remotely acceptable to go attacking our women and children? What the hell?
But you know, if the guy that murdered Rhiannon White,
near Warsaw, at the station.
That was in Warsaw. He stabbed her with a screwdriver.
I know. And then was dancing afterwards, I remember.
Right? Now that man claimed that he was underage so that he would get a lesser sentence. And because of his human rights, they did not allow him to have a bone density test to test his age because it was a breach of his human rights.
And then they get into schools as well. So it used to be we used to care about our children. Now we go, we'll put this adult, who's obviously an adult, in with the children. And like you say, you put people next to schools who we haven't done checks on. We found out one of these rapists was actually a murderer in Egypt. So we can find out when we need to. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they come out, put them next to a school. If someone dies or gets raped, we're a resilient. I heard one of the ministers, I think it was our defence minister, saying, "Oh, we're a resilient nation. You know, we can take like as if we're getting raped, you'll get over it." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's not resilient. Do you know what it is? We're weak. We just tolerate. That's all it is, and it's really annoying. Orla, unfortunately, we're rapidly running out of time, but I'm itching to know, sort of, for someone with such an expert opinion as yourself, where does this end? I mean, obviously, I'm asking you to predict the future, but come on, surely there's got to be a critical mass somewhere.
Okay, so if you were in Europe and you had been expelled from a city in Europe, which most of these men now have, and you thought, I can come to London and go, or the UK and go into a 4-star hotel and get given everything, you are going to do it. It's the land of milk and honey. Yeah. The only thing that we can do is detain these men, put them with no luxuries, bread, bed and bread
in a
and
detention centre.
Food, detention centre, and then deport them. Yeah. End of story. That would stop them coming over. The fact is, they come here because they get everything given to them.
But we also have to deal with those who are here now. I don't think there's an awful lot of people who sort of seem to think that we'll sort of can just start a clean slate by dealing with those who continue to come. No, it actually has to be those who are here now. We've got to deal with.
They broke into the country illegally. They have broken the law. Deport them. End of story.
So where's your you've got a protest at the Home Office tomorrow? Tell us about that.
So we're at the Home Office tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and then we're marching down to Downing Street. I've got an appointment at 1:30 in Downing Street to give a letter to our leader. I don't like to use his name. To our leader, and I'm going to be doing that with a lady called Abby Johnson, who is a 22-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted by a Syrian migrant. She's coming with me. So
Well, good luck with that.
Tomorrow. Thank you.
Orla, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you for speaking to us, and thank you for all that you do for just keeping or trying to keep the female population of this country safer, considerably safer than our revolting excuse of parliamentarians do. Anyway, right, coming off the break, don't know if you've seen the front page of the Daily Mail.
What are we doing, man, after the break? What's going on, man?
Exceptionally sad story about this is a 56-year-old. She's basically she's a healthy individual, but she's determined to end her life within the coming 24 hours because she's too broken-hearted to carry on. That's so she says, according to front page of the Daily Mail from today. And we're going to be speaking exceptionally sad story. To talk about this is Dr. Gordon MacDonald. He's the CEO of Care Not Killing. It's a UK-based alliance, an organisation calling for better palliative care, and it's going to be a tough one, but we're going to try and navigate our way through it. He's Asher Gould, I'm Phil Dave. This is Talk. Keep with us.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk with Phil and Ash. Give us a ring about anything, Keir Starmer, St George's Day, asylum seekers, whatever we've been talking about, whatever you want to talk about. 03444991000. And if you're a bit scared to come on live, you can leave a WhatsApp voice message. You go on WhatsApp with our number and you just record it in the voice message, and it comes out nice and clear as well. But anyway, we're going to talk about something very serious. We're basically going to be talking about euthanasia with Dr. Gordon MacDonald, CEO of Care Not Killing, a UK-based alliance calling for better palliative care, because there's a story out that a lady is so depressed that she wants to take her own life, and this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, I know someone with depression who took their own life, and for 20 years they kept him all right, and then in the end he just couldn't. It's something you can't understand, proper full-on depression. But I always think, you know, maybe there'll be something in the future where, you know, with AI and the amazing things that they're going to come up with in the brain and drugs, you know, it's very difficult to say. I know someone else who was depressed and they had that electric shock treatment and it actually did help. But anyway, let's talk to Dr. Gordon MacDonald. Hi, Gordon.
Hello.
So what's your views anyway on, obviously you're against euthanasia. Are you like me? Are you thinking once you open that door, you know, say you're definitely going to die neuron disease or something in 6 months, but once you open that door, I remember in Belgium there's girls of 18 who are able to kill themselves because they're depressed. There was a guy in Canada who just was broke, ran out of money, and they allowed him to euthanize himself. What is your view from religion, or is it just a moral outlook?
I think the problem is, as you say, once you open the door, there isn't any logical place to stop it. It just expands. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen over time. And we see that everywhere that the law has changed. So, you know, you're right. I mean, this sort of mental health euthanasia in Belgium and the Netherlands has increased in recent years. And, you know, the thing that happened in the Netherlands is that it's more young women than young men. So there's a gendered element to it as well.
Why is that, do you think? Is that, I mean, you know, I mean, obviously things like anorexia is more, happens with women, doesn't it? Is it something, are they more affected psychologically in the world we live in for some reason?
Well, I don't know what the reason is, but the numbers certainly show there's about 2/3 of young people who have, you know, people under 30 who have a euthanasia death for mental health reasons in the Netherlands are female rather than male. So that is pretty concerning, I think. It does suggest that there's a lack of support for these young women. And that, you know, I mean, there may be prejudice within the healthcare system, I don't know, but at the end of the day, the real reason I suspect is that the young women may be struggling with body image issues.
You see, I see this as just a really sad indictment on Western civilization, the fact that we are even allowing people to get that, I mean, none of us are psychologists per se, but I mean, that depressed that they would decide to end their life rather than actually say, okay, clearly someone is such in a dire state and they desperately need some sort of help, but we would actually sooner let them go and take themselves off to Dignitas rather than actually to say, what should we be doing to improve healthcare for people who are in that situation in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tragic case that's been in the press this week. I think this particular clinic in Switzerland is particularly irresponsible, quite frankly. There are people in the UK who are involved with that clinic and who are assisting people to go there. So that, you know, this is a really serious issue, I think, and the police and the authorities should have the powers to stop it. And if they don't have those powers, then rather than our politicians looking to legalise assisted suicide in the UK, they should be looking to close that gap, which means that people can profit from.
Yeah, but I suppose the way you've got to look at it is that sort of whereas suicide might be an offence, an illegal activity in this country, clearly it's not. It's certainly in that part of Switzerland. And I suppose, who are we to say that if someone decides that they want to end their life, surely we should be saying, well, it's their life, they can do what they want with it, no?
Yeah, but we don't say that with any other form of suicide in the UK. You know, we have suicide prevention. Lots of investment gets put into trying to dissuade people because as a society, we recognise that it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy for families. It's a tragedy for the individuals.
And that's the thing, is I was going to say, to my mind, and I've sort of mentioned this before, I personally think that anyone who wants to end their life and leave behind loved ones, I'm sorry, I just think it's the most selfish act.
This woman, Wendy Duffy, 56, physically healthy enough, sound mind. Are you of sound mind? But I understand she was devastated at the loss of her only child in a tragic accident, and that's why she decided to take her own life at the controversial Pegasus suicide clinic. But we had a nurse on the show once, and she just bent down to pick a pen lid up, and something went in her back, and she was paralysed from the waist down. And she had young kids, and she called us in, and she said, for months I wanted to kill myself. I said, I said, what about your kids? She said, I didn't care, I just wanted to go. And she said, then 6 months happened, and she actually got used to it. And in the end, she said this on the phone, she said, I was glad it happened to me because it gave me an amazing outlook on life. So you've always got to, if it's happened in a few months, you don't know how your brain rewires itself. And she was actually literally saying she was glad it happened. This was a young woman who paralysed herself just picking up a pen lid. So you don't know how you're going to feel. And like I said, there will be drugs, other advances with AI, which are far more advanced than what we can think of. There'll be things coming out as well. But isn't it ultimately an evil? There seems to be an evilness. Maybe with the left, they seem to say abortion can be up to 9 months. It seems to be like our government, a party of death, and it seems to happen with socialist governments.
Well, in the UK traditionally, it's been cross-party opposition, actually, and we still see that, actually. In some European countries, you're right, it's more socialist governments that bring it in. But in the UK, the Labour Party has traditionally had an opposition because there's a sense of communitarianism. Certainly in Scotland, where I'm from, the Labour Party were largely opposed to the bill which came before the Scottish Parliament. I think in England, the Labour Party is a bit more socially liberal than it would be in Scotland. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. So it's not such a left-right issue in the UK context as it is elsewhere. But I think, I know that the lady you're talking about, Michelle Moffat, I think is the lady you're referring to. And, she has, very strong views against euthanasia and assisted suicide because of, her own experience.
Dame Esther Ranson, of course, her daughter was saying she was furious with the House of Lords, accusing it of blocking the vote by democratic vandalism. But isn't Esther Ranson a sort of example of where she only thought she had a few months, and they were found some drugs and other things, and she's carried on for quite a few years now?
Yeah, and it's fantastic that she's, 3 years later, when she expected to die within 6 months, she's still alive, obviously, and we hope that will continue for many more years. But she is an example of exactly why we shouldn't change the law, because once you change it and people get a 6 month diagnosis and they're depressed, perhaps, or shocked as a result of that, then they may very well go down.
Well, actually, we could actually use our very own, the late, great James Whale as a classic example of this. Yeah. The times that he was told that there wasn't much more they could do, and then
he went on about 5 or 6 years.
They found sort of additional medication that kept him going. But I guess that also the three of us sat here at the moment, we are very lucky that we're obviously not in the position where we want to end our lives, but I don't know whether or not maybe it's being unfair towards those who are obviously in a very different situation.
Yeah, but I heard a caller on Ian Collins' show, and I think it was a woman, and she said that they'd given her 6 months at this hospital. She went to the trust, the neighbouring trust, and the doctor said, I think we can have a go at this. And she was alive 10 years later, and it had all disappeared. So there's also medical, some doctors aren't as good as other doctors. It's such a grey area. I just think, and when you open that door, like you say, it's open and then it just gets wide. And I think you've just got to say no. It's probably a harsh way, but if you can, a lot of men do kill themselves, don't they? You say young women, it's men over 50. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them probably actually just kill themselves, don't they?
Yeah, I was contacted by somebody recently who was given 6 months to live 25 years ago, and he wrote me a letter. He's now 80.
He probably didn't pay his medical bill, so they kept him going a bit.
But I thought that was a really encouraging story. He was really passionate in what he said, to me, as to how he was opposed to this, but he had been given this diagnosis, and so 6 months to live. And 25 years later, at the age of 80, he's still going strong.
And was it cancer? And had the cancer disappeared, or was it just slow?
Yeah, it was a cancer, and it was cured, obviously, so yeah.
What's your link to this? Why have you got involved? Is it religious, or is it a family reason, or what's the...
Well, I mean, I've worked in politics for 25 years, and I was in charge of the campaign, killing campaign in Scotland when the two bills came before the Scottish Parliament in 2010 and 2015. So I've been involved in this issue for all those years. Personally, I'm a Christian, but the organisation I work for isn't a faith-based organisation.
But can we talk about care not killing? Because obviously, so I know that your organisation believes strongly in better, say, palliative care rather than just sort of trying to extinguish.
Which is very good.
But
just using the James Whale thing, it was amazing. For his wife, it wasn't so good when she died, but for him, it was amazing. His last few days, the hospice were amazing, and we're doing a walk for the hospice he was at.
Nice. Yeah, but I suppose it's just, what is it that we're doing now, and what should we be doing better as far as care not killing is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, the problem in the UK with palliative care, and I should say that the UK's palliative care is the best in the world, but it's still got gaps in it. And so 1 in 3 people now, according to Marie Curie, are not getting all their palliative care needs met. And there's various reasons for that. Part of it's underfunding. So some of the hospices are closing beds and laying people off, particularly in England. But it's also the fact that we have an ageing population. And so the demand and the needs in palliative care is increasing, and is increasing probably by about 25% over the next 10 years. So because of that, there needs to be much bigger investment from the government in palliative care. And at the moment, only a third of hospice funding comes from the NHS. And of course, out of hours and in the community, there's often gaps. There's not enough Macmillan nurses, etc. So that's where we need to put the investment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, she's talking about this. Nadine, Mr. Wales, Lord Wales' wife is doing this for the hospice. So I think she's coming on tomorrow to talk about it. So that'll be good.
It'd be nice to see Nadine again.
No, thanks for. Oh no, we've still got a minute and a half. So anything you wanted to say?
I tell you what I do want to say is I want to say thank you, Dr. Gordon, for actually valuing life, because I don't know if enough people do. I think we just take life very much for granted. I think people very quickly will say, and I'm only here to play devil's advocate when I talk about things, but I personally do believe in value of life, and I think that sort of the fact that you've got people like you who do champion it and actually encourage people to appreciate what they've got is super important. So just for that alone, thank you.
Yeah, and all of us are special. That's the fundamental thing here, and we're all of value.
Some more than others, though. I mean.
Yeah, quite. But Dr. Gordon MacDonald, CEO of Care Not Killing, thank you so much for having a chat with us this evening. Really appreciate it. Can we just very quickly, I know...
Yeah, man, we've got loads of messages.
There's a message here from Claire.
Someone met Pele in Japan at the World Cup final.
Oh, blimey, that's all right.
Claire did.
Claire, I mean, I'm sorry, but I need to read out this bit here. I'm really sort of horrified to hear this, but I'm so pleased you're still here to tell the tales, where you said that you've actually tried to end your life no less than 3 times, but of course you actually go on to say that you're very glad you failed in every attempt, but you're now 50, and the first time you attempted was when you were 13. Claire, I'm very sad to hear that you even moved to try that, but I'm really pleased that you are still here to tell the tale. So.
And met Pele then. Someone says, in World War II, our heroes died so we could live. Life is precious. I mean, it has changed our attitude to life. Zarina says it's also worth mentioning that many of these asylum seekers who have been given leave to remain tend to go back home on their holidays. How is this so anyway? Give us a ring after the news, 0344 499 1000. It's me and Dave, Phil Dave from down the local. It's Talk on a Thursday night. Andre's sick, back after the news.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's papers time. It's me and Phil, Dave, Andre's sick, so Phil's nice dropped in from the local. He's just recorded down the local, so make sure you... What days it come out?
It comes out every Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Every Thursday, man.
So thank you. That was a nice plug. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right, man. But we're joined with Pete Barnes. Pete Barnes is here, and we're going to go through... We've got one paper.
Professionalism's arrived.
Professionalism. But anyway, give us a ring, 03444991000, because we'll be taking your calls after the news and probably during this hour.
But this is the pay-per-view hour, so, you know.
So let's start with the papers. The Independent. Top official reveals how Indy triggered Mandelson panic. Cabinet Office Chief Cat Little confirms government scrambled to get details of Mandelson's vetting just days after newspapers more than 7 months ago reported disgraced peer had failed security detail checks, and that was on the front page of the Independent. Yet they all obviously they didn't miss it, did they?
No, there's no way that they missed it. It's absolutely
no, they don't read the papers, don't you know?
Yeah, you know, the head of press doesn't read the newspapers. No. Though, to be fair, given this Labour government, I think it could actually be possible.
Maybe they can't read, allegedly.
Because he's always away, and you know when you're away, and you go, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't cancel the papers, you know, and then they all stack up. You never go through them, do you? But no, it is laughable that, you know, the nonsense they've come out with, and they expect it. They expect us to believe it.
I don't think they do anymore. They just need to say it, and then they can just carry on.
Well, I do think they're now in the theory of if they just bore us to death, we'll go away, because Cat, honestly, her evidence today, the Cat Little, I swear to God, I've seen paint dry with more entertainment and more kind of vigour. But I think that was kind of the point, is that she was the embodiment of that kind of faceless civil servant. She was computer says no in a person, and I think that is the state that we're at now, because obviously the writing is on the wall. It's just whether Keir Starmer's capable of reading it.
But you know what? It amuses me the way that everyone is saying about how the Prime Minister will have to fall on his sword. He's going to have no choice. His position
never asked before when he should have.
Why is he going to fall on his sword? He's not the kind of person who's going to do that. As far as I can tell, from what I can see, he has no scruples, so he's not going to care.
Oh, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think we're stuck with him. And I actually think he might lead Labour into the next general election.
He doesn't care about Labour. I mean, he only joined the actual Labour Party about a few years as a sort of route to become Prime Minister. Don't you think, I mean, he must have... people say he wanted it for his CV, but he's going to be remembered as the worst Prime Minister, a coward, a dishonourable, a liar. Don't you think he's a bit disappointed in how it's going? Or is he just doing a job for someone else?
I don't... For me, I actually think he thinks he's doing a good job. I think he thinks he's getting through it, so therefore it must be the good thing.
No, but hang on a second. I mean, the way that he's sort of constantly blaming other people, and he's sort of saying, well, it wasn't me, it was... It's like he's not even taking responsibility, so he can't possibly think he's doing a good job.
It's like a child, isn't it?
Well, on that point, you could say that he thinks he's doing a good job. Everybody else is letting him down.
True.
That's the way he's thinking.
It's like a child.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it.
Yeah. The immediate reaction to fire Ollie Robbins, I thought, was a categorical mistake.
He was good, though, wasn't he?
Yes, he was very good. But that's only because Emily Thornberry was very good. She basically said, "It's okay. You can say the what you
F word."
Yeah,
he still wouldn't though. She had to say it.
Yeah, but then also she kind of teased it out of him. She kind of made him feel comfortable. But then she did kind of hammer home some very firm points against Starmer, because you can't forget that they've also got a history, Emily Thornberry and Keir Starmer. But also the one you can't underestimate is Lindsay Hoyle in all of this, because they have a history as well. If you go back to when it was the ceasefire votes, and Starmer's was supposedly set up the speaker and all that situation, he still holds a grudge, and he's from Chorley's, from my way. He knows how to hold a grudge.
But his default position, Starmer, is deflection, deflection, deflection. If you look at every I don't even know why we bother having Prime Minister's questions anymore, because literally every single question he is ever asked, all he ever does is say, because of the mess that party opposite left us, this is what... How many more years is he going to say about?
And they're going to blame oil now for the economy collapsing.
Oh, Rachel Reeves has. I bet she's never been happier for a war, because now she's got a new thing to blame all her economic catastrophes.
But we were already collapsing anyway. I mean, we already were paying 4 or 5 times what they pay in America.
We had 0% economic growth in January. The war only started in March, so it doesn't make any sense. It logically cannot make sense.
But they'll stick with it, like you say, and they'll know we know it's a load of rubbish. And they'll just. She even had. What about that painting she had commissioned of herself for nine grand or something?
Yeah. I mean, there is always an old rule that when you deal with the public sector, to stick 2 zeros on the end of the bill, because no one's ever checking it. Well, I mean, £9,000, and also for that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Picture of
I wouldn't mind if it was all right.
There should have been a chessboard behind with a trophy with 29th place.
Oh, I'd have gone for more a wanted poster.
Halifax Customer Services Department.
Maybe is it going to replace the portrait? Was it Margaret Thatcher that he infamously took down?
Yeah, he didn't like portraits staring down at him. I was like, I'm talking about someone else's fragility.
By a
Prime Minister. Put up their head of the British Communist Party, a woman in history. One of I think it might have been Rachel Reeves,
because she's not a because she isn't a right wing. So that was the thing. As long as you're not a right winger, you're fine.
Front page of the Times: swearing at civil servants simply isn't me, insists McSweeney.
Nobody knows. No one's ever heard him say anything.
No, well, I'm not surprised. Swear, because if he doesn't talk, he can't say anything. He doesn't swear anyway. So.
But just in general, I think the only time everybody has ever heard him say anything was when he resigned, and that was brief.
Yeah, I didn't actually know he sounded like that. Actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's one of the great jokes in SW1 is the guy who he's a communications guy, doesn't talk, but
so this
year on the front page sums up number 10 really when you think about it.
Front page of the Times, so it goes on to say Morgan McSweeney has denied before an appearance in front of MPs next week that claims that he bullied quote unquote civil servants into appointing Lord Mandelson as ambassador to the US. The Prime Minister's former chief of staff faces claims that he told Sir Philip Barton, the then permanent secretary at the Foreign Office, to just approve Mandelson's appointment. But apparently he says swearing at civil servants isn't him.
Well, he would do, wouldn't he, as Mandy Rice-Davies said.
But also, I would like to point out that just because you didn't swear doesn't mean you didn't say it. If you know what I mean.
I mean, why would the bloke make
you
that
didn't
up?
say the swear word, but you may have still told them to do it. That is the bit that we should be concerned about.
Well, exactly, and why would the bloke say... Exactly, that's the bit, but why would he say it if it wasn't? Why wouldn't he just say, he said, just do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, but that is the most interesting connection between McSweeney and the former permanent secretary, because that is the bit when it went from a red to an amber.
But his phone got stolen,
and then it so conveniently got stolen. Although we do live in London,
it stinks. But he gave out the wrong address, and he didn't report it. It was what his job. Then the police would have done find my iPhone and got it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. If you've ever had a government phone of any variety, no matter how senior you are, they can find that thing. It's deliberately findable.
Now this is interesting. The Telegraph: Irma's excessive fee for Iraq witch hunt. Now this is unbelievable. Lord Irma, who's acting against this country, yet is the Attorney General, who was presided over the Chagos Island, makes a lot of money from all this, and a lot of these people he represented, because people used to say, oh, it's the taxi rank rule. No, it wasn't. They actually chose a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Have we got? I mean, why would you join the army when the government actually will hound you if you're in the army for something that you didn't do?
Not to mention when you're actually following the Labour Party's orders in the first place. Let's cast our mind back. A lot of these individuals who are being prosecuted, were being prosecuted, are basically the ones who followed the reports, the orders of the then Labour Party. Yeah. So why would you even think of working for them?
It's probably the biggest obstacle now to recruitment into the armed forces, because you don't know whether the government is going to have your back, and that's the people that you need at your back when you're in a literal war zone.
They're ratcheting us up for war when there is no war really taking, you know what I mean?
I have to admit, because everyone's fussing over the fact that Trump's got recruitment up to its highest level since 2001. What they don't mention in that is the fact that they kind of automatically signed a lot of people up if he didn't opt out. So there's another bit of the story, but I do think that we do have a huge recruitment problem. We don't have an army problem, and we don't have a navy. I mean, the HMS Dragon spent a month in.
We've got loads of admirals.
Yeah.
No ships, but we've got loads of admirals,
Yeah, all that car insurance, but never mind.
It's a bit like the naval equivalent of the housing list, I suppose. Yeah.
No, it is exactly, and they don't get looked after afterwards as well. They're sleeping in the doorways while the people on the boats they get.
I will say though that there is actually it was today, and I apologise. I don't know what the actual result of the vote was, but there was whether they were going to carry over the Troubles Bill and into the next Parliament. There was a vote on it, or they were going to announce the vote, and that basically means that it would end up being in the King's Speech. So because it's at the end of the parliamentary term, it would either have to die a death, or you kind of pass it on, as it were. You have to have a vote on it, and it was being announced at Business Questions today, and I was in a meeting, so I don't know how it went, but that's a really important one, because it would show how much support there is for this bill amongst the Labour Party. Because if it passes, it means there's a huge amount of like backbench support for a very controversial bill that will put pensioners literally waiting for a knock on the door. You know, that's the situation.
Do you think they'll be trying to change things because of the lack of, the military support and recruitment? Do you think they're going to try and, put this out so it doesn't go through?
Well, you'd like to think so, but actually, I think this is one of their they want this bill because obviously it's the IRA kind of situation.
Well, what about Hermer? £450 an hour rate to investigate war crimes.
Yeah, double his rate.
I think I'm in the wrong job.
I've always said this. I
wouldn't want to prosecute heroes, so
no.
He doesn't.
No, but you would rather think, wouldn't you, when you're supposed to be kind of correcting a great wrong and all the rest of it, you do it on a cheap kind of situation.
He also got personally involved with Lucy Connolly's case as well.
And it is the fact that he gets very personally involved in things that he's not supposed to. But then I look at the Bob Villan situation where he was supposed to give like a one-line approval to make sure that guy was prosecuted under terrorism legislation, and he was conveniently not available for 3 months.
Yeah, time went out, isn't it? And
so
Lucy
he
Connolly
definitely on favour on one thing and then absent on the other thing. I mean, that's a bit convenient.
Lucy Connolly wasn't given bail, but the guy who murdered the people at the synagogue in Manchester was on bail for rape.
Yeah, well, that's
this all tells you exactly what the rot is.
Also on the front page of Telegraph, this is a curious story. US blocking Met Police investigation into Mandelson. Donald Trump's Justice Department is blocking Scotland Yard's investigation into Lord Mandelson, apparently the Telegraph has learned. United States officials have refused to hand over key evidence contained in the Epstein files to the British counterparts. The Department of Justice is insisting Scotland Yard submits a formal application known as a Mutual Legal Assistance and MLA request.
Yes, so this is pretty bog standard. However, it is interesting that this is kind of being put up because the Republicans will probably lose control of the committee that will have control over the Epstein file. So you'd think they would try to get everything, tidied up before they would lose control. But Sir Mark Riley has been pushing on the Americans quite a lot at the Justice Department to hand over a lot of this information so they can proceed with the Mandelson investigation.
Do you think they're pretending and they've told the Americans, look, don't hand it over to us?
I think it's more than likely that what has happened in America...
We'll pretend we want it and you don't, and then we can just
you can buy your way out of prosecution, basically. That is one thing that they have over in America. The DOJ, you could do deals and you could pay a lot of money.
I mean, there is that, but there is, of course, also the possibility that the British government have done so much damage to the relationship with America, they just simply don't trust the results anyway.
And I think that's a really good point, because I think it's now you've got to do everything the proper way because we don't trust you, otherwise,
they want a paper trail, basically.
Yes, I think that is a really, really strong argument for that, because as I've always said, this entire Mandelson thing, he's the trigger, but the bigger problem is it's a bit of a intelligence, it's a bit of credibility problem, it's a Five Eyes problem. It is literally Britain is not trusted anymore, and that's what the story really is. Rightfully so.
Well, the government, not us as a nation. M&S self-checkouts fuel rise in shoplifting. The chairman of M&S has claimed that self-checkouts are fueling a rise in shoplifting among good, honest people. So it's making
you, Ashley,
good. I know it makes you. It's just you can't help yourself. When normally good, honest people come in and they're buying their shopping and it doesn't scan and there's nobody manning the checkouts. They're saying, well, it's not my fault and I don't have much, so I can get my strawberries through. I'll just put them in my basket. So that's his theory, that people are just going, oh, well, if you don't want my money, I'll take my strawberries. What do you think?
So I remember when self-service was brought in, the sales of carrots went up by like 500%, despite the fact there was not that amount of carrots.
And they ran out of avocados for some reason, but none have been scanned.
There's a comedian that says, the self-service checkout is known as the theft department, because literally this basically is what you do. You could just walk out, but it's a consequence of the self-service. But there are certain shops that are bringing back the people on the tills.
Although I will say it is slightly curious though if you think about it, because M&S is one of the few supermarkets that doesn't necessarily have the bagging area that the other supermarkets do. Waitrose do exactly the same.
What you talking about, Willis?
No. So in other words, when you actually sort of put an item, it says unexpected item in the bagging area. So you go to the Tesco, Asda, and other places like that.
Do they expect the item?
But I was going to say, so in M&S and Waitrose, they don't necessarily have that bagging area. So actually, doesn't it just go to show, however annoying it is, that's obviously clearly the reason why those other places do have it.
Oh yes, definitely. And I think it was Lidl and Aldi were the first ones about 2 years ago said to bring back the people on the tills because of the problem of theft at self-service.
But they're quick, aren't they? Have you seen a Lidl like that? They're unbelievable.
Apparently, they do actually time. It is actually done for a particular reason.
Because it's pile high and sell low, isn't it?
Well, in Lidl and Aldi, I don't know if you've ever noticed that. I'm sorry, this is really boring.
Do you know they were brothers and they fell out about selling fags?
Yes, I do know this. Yeah, absolutely. The old Bright brothers or whatever it is. That's where the name Aldi comes from. But the curious thing about if ever you look at Aldi or Lidl products, is that they have barcodes all over the place, and the reason for it is so that they can scan through the checkout much quicker.
Right.
So I know this geeky stuff.
But I mean, also people are annoyed because you go into your local co-op and you see people walking out with tons of wine, so they're probably going, "Well, I'll have some of that."
Exactly. And then
it's like the same with the train barriers. I saw someone today at London Bridge, and they don't even break through. They say the guy at the door, "Oh, can you buzz me through?" And the guy just buzzes them through.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know. It is that one. I have to admit, really irritates me because the tube is only going up in price, and yet
because we're the mugs
because we're the mugs that pay for it.
Absolutely.
But it is interesting though. You look back at the two people that have been fired. I think one was from Marks Spencer's and one was from Morrison's, if I remember recently.
Yes. So one was fired from Waitrose. The other that was fired from Morrison's. Yeah.
And I will say the reason for that is the law is not on the side of the companies. So they have. It is easier for them to fire the people that would actually cost them more money. Until we change that bit of the law, any kind of security in a shop is completely for theatre.
It never used to be. The store detective used to grapple them to the ground, and the Giuliani thing, the broken windows policy. It's an invitation for crime. Anyway, we've got to take a little break.
Absolutely, yes.
But we'll talk about final whistle blows on Football Focus.
Oh dear, whatever are we going to do? Yeah, it's pay-per-view.
What's Football Focus?
Well, good question. I know he's Asher Gould. I'm Phil Dave because poor Andre's off sick this evening, but thankfully Pete Barnes is here as well, and hopefully you'll be with us as well. Pay-per-view continues right after this.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. It's Ash and Phil, because Andre's having a sickie.
He's pulled a sickie,
anyway, look, final whistle. We're going to do some messages in a minute. Final whistle blows on Football Focus. And you said, what's final whistle? It's Football Focus.
I mean, it's only been around for 52 years. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, one of the BBC's longest-running sports programmes will be axed to the end of the season after 52 years. The demise of one of the corporation's best-known football shows, unless you feel, Dave, comes amid plans for it to cut up to 10% 100% of jobs over the next 2 years. Need to cut 100% of jobs.
Well, at least you know why I'm not allowed to present on TalkSport now.
Well, I mean, do you not remember when I hosted, when I was
Football Focus? Did you host Football Focus?
I have no idea what it is. I grew up between Manchester.
Rugby league man.
I grew up between Manchester and Liverpool, and I know nothing about football.
I know what Wimbledon is. I love tennis.
I literally have no idea.
It's a football club, isn't it, Wimbledon?
Yeah. Well, no, it's when you drink champagne.
Their average figures have dropped to
and really expensive strawberries.
690,000. Yeah, because you do. And my view was, you remember Match of the Day, and they were going, who should we get to present it to? My idea was get a chimpanzee to present it, because if you had a chimpanzee, it would get more than Lineker. Because like you'd watch Match of the Day if it had a chimp on it.
Yeah.
So you'd get all the football people because they just want that, and you'd get all the other people that want to see a monkey.
Well, it makes perfect sense.
With Alan Shearer looking a bit scared.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Go from a chump to a chimp.
But and he wouldn't have to pay him much.
Well, do you not remember when?
You got to think outside the box, BBC.
When Lineker was suspended, the viewings went up, didn't they? Because everyone was more interested to see what it was like.
Well, no, because it was when it was something like it was only commentary, and they
went on strike, and they should have BBC. She said, right, you're all fine.
It was the most viewed. I think it was the most viewed edition of Match Day. So hang on a sec. So did you used to watch Final Whistle then?
No, Final Whistle. I think that was a show on Talk Sports. Final Whistle was a show on Talk Sport.
Can we just? There's a message here that's quite nice.
Go on, read some messages.
There's a message here from Danielle. Danielle's in Colorado.
We know Danielle, the fire chief.
No, Danielle's lovely, and she says, "My favourite lads." This is exciting. She said she's being a bit unfair, but quite funny. She says Ash can get a word in edgeways now with Andre off sick.
Yeah,
so that's exciting. Yeah. But though she does say she hopes Andre feels much better soon. And then she said she was having a go at you. She said, "Where were you a couple of weeks ago when she came to see us in Down Local in person? She wants to meet you."
Did she come here last week?
No, she came a couple of weeks ago. She was in the country.
Well, I didn't know, did I?
I know, but I'll tell you, because she what to do. She came to Down the Local.
Yeah,
right, and she actually.
Where were you? Where was it? Which one was it?
It was Prince of Wales in Elephant and Castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she was there, and so she was really excited to be on Down the Local. But she missed you.
I must have ruined the night for her.
Yeah, no. Well, she asked me to send you her love. By the way, Danielle sends her love.
She's lovely. Yeah, she's. Oh, well, next time you're over here, I hope you come again soon. She's from here, obviously originally, but she was a fire chief in San Francisco, and once she did a Zoom call from a truck.
Oh yeah.
She was actually the boss of the fire station there.
Well, she sends her love anyway, so there you go.
So anything else? Any other data?
This probably is, but I just wanted to read that.
Talk great show, but Ash needs to stop interrupting when someone has got a good point to make with his banal opinion.
It's not banal.
But that's what I'm here for, my banal.
Yeah.
Claire says, if you want to die, ride the tube, and that's a bit libelous. But if you go on, I've got a particulate machine, and it does go into totally out the red, and there's too many particulates, so they don't care about pollution and poisoning. Don't you get rid of that? No, I was thinking of someone else completely. Yes. Let's have a look. The Sun, Soaraway Sun. Beach sex attackers guilty. And look at him there grinning. A migrant rapist was on the run. Migrant rapist was on the run for murder, and we found that out in the court case, but we didn't find out when he was came over. So there obviously is ways of finding out, and so. Like that person from the Pink Ladies we had on before, Orla, you know, we're not checking these people, and they're putting them next to schools. They could be murderers and rapists, and some of them are turning out to be that. And if we can find
look at the state of this inane grin on his face. This is the kind of reprobates we're importing. I'm sorry, it's just disgusting.
I mean, it is a monster.
The thing that really gets me is most of these people have failed asylum in another European country and come here. So why don't we know about this? This is the bit I don't do, and I think and I think that's the bigger point is we do, and it doesn't matter to the way that they actually do the checkings and the vetting. You know, a failed asylum application clearly can't be held against you. So, you know, come on in.
They get to stay anyway, like you say. You know, they just say, well, if you send me back, I'll get murdered. But we've got to work out a system of what you can do. The story, a small boat migrant involved in the gang rape of a woman on Brighton Beach came to the UK to escape a murder conviction in Egypt, so we're not getting the best. Karine Al-Danasert, 20, arrived here illegally in June 2025, 4 months before the cynical, predatory, callous assault. Two laughing attackers convicted alongside him yesterday arrived in the same same boat in September 2024. And I know a bit more about this case.
All three lived in taxpayer-funded hotels.
We paid for this, and they had a celebratory barbecue after on that night. Exactly like the guy who stabbed that poor woman to death in Warsaw was dancing after. They don't care, and there he is smiling, and our court system will probably say, oh well, he comes from a culture where, you know, it's sort of that's, you know, he'll get mitigation. Yes. And also there's never any racially aggravated part when a lot of these are racially aggravated.
I think that is a really good point.
They were calling her a dirty, you know, they were raping her, and it was disgusting what's going on.
It really is, and the fact they just had a barbecue afterwards, I think that just shows the inhumane and the sickness of it.
They're revolting, absolutely.
I think it's a really interesting point that, you know, we don't check, and even when anybody is coming here, and we put them in places where there is a high chance of these things happening, and yet we just allow it. Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't allow a teacher in a school. You have to go through all these checks, and anyone lives nearby, paedophiles and that. But yeah, if you've come from abroad and you're a paedophile or you're a murderer, well, we won't know unless it does go to court, and then we can find out. You see, we should tell these people you've got to prove who you are, and you can do that.
Well, the Conservatives did, didn't they? They said you have to. Anybody who's caught destroying documents or lying or anything like that, then your asylum claim was automatically rejected. But then the Labour Party came in and they scrapped that straight away.
Well, I mean, one of the first things I put it to you, if they don't have any documentation, they're automatically.
Yeah, but they'd say, "Oh, I'm gay and I'm now a Christian, and if you send me back, I'm going to be murdered." It's checkmate. So. Yes.
Yeah,
it? So we've got to change
it's not the British taxpayers' problem.
And I tell you what also annoys me.
They wouldn't be murdered if they were in France, just saying.
Yeah, and I do find it funny that it was actually, on that particular story, it was the BBC that uncovered that one. Do you know about these kind of things? Yeah, exactly. I know, yeah, so that one you can find.
Have a look, the front page of the Eye here. Actually, do you know what, let's go into that. You got FT there, so let's go with FT, because that's...
this is in the FT, so we'll read you that out, because it costs £3.17. The Republic of Ireland is £4.10. Board, US accuses China of industrial-scale theft from AI labs in tech arms race. Distillation campaigns in focus. Beijing condemns pure slander. Trump to meet Xi in weeks, and the White House has accused China of industrial-scale theft of American artificial intelligence labs' intellectual property, and warned that it would crack down on a practice that exploits US innovation. I mean, we know they do this. We've seen their Range Rover, and they've been doing it for years. And why haven't the US? Why aren't they guarding it more? I know some companies
most of it is actually here. And it's actually across the river. And that's one of the big problems about the super embassy, is it's next to where most British research is done into quantum computing. It is literally across the river.
And you know, I saw it.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
A lot of companies now are saying, don't buy Chinese cars, or if you do, don't ever put your phone in the USB socket in the car and things like that. And they had found in toasters, didn't they? Bugging your toast.
Well, they were in fridges at one point, weren't they? They were in the Bluetooth in a fridge. Why your fridge needs Bluetooth, I have yet to work that bit out.
I've never actually looked at my fridge and
you can play your stereo on it.
This had Bluetooth on it.
Yeah.
I've got a Bluetooth speaker, but I don't need a Bluetooth fridge.
But it's nice. It's nice to have.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear from behind the door. I don't want to hear like sort of stand-out ballet trying to creep out through the refrigerator.
What would you have? Gold when it overall true. They're different at different times of day, wouldn't it?
No, mine. It should say you're not. You open it, it goes. You're not hungry. You're just bored.
But they've got stuff now. Yeah, it's true.
I know the feeling.
You're just comfort eating. But it's just. You've got smart things, smart fridges that will order your tomatoes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so you can make shopping lists on them, and then apparently they automatically renew and order your groceries.
Just on the AI bit, I'll bring it back to the news.
Thanks, man. Sorry about that.
Anytime. It's quite worrying because there is a new AI that's being rolled out, and it is from China, and it is a rip-off of the Anthropic Claude, which is like the most powerful one and the most popular one at the moment. But it's got all the kind of free token limits and everything that you would kind of want. But the problem is, it's basically directly into the Chinese Communist Party, and they're rolling it out for free around the world.
Yeah,
and everybody is jumping on it.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah. Do you believe we're all going to die from AI? Which is what the actual CEOs of these companies say. Well, that's probably what's going to. Even Elon Musk.
No, I think we'll die because of some incompetent civil servant.
Yeah.
Or because of nuclear bomb. Because now 9 countries have it. Soon it will be more, and eventually, there's so many of them flying around. You won't know what to do.
That's right. Well, anyway, I mean, this is the pay-per review. You wouldn't know it. We're trying to cheer you up.
This is actually better than it normally goes.
Give us a ring for the next hour as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Next hour coming up. If you are listening late night,
the next hour is coming up.
If you're listening to the repeat hour, then this is not such a good idea to call us. But
by the way. way, who's on in the morning? It's going to be...
Oh, it's Ian Collins.
Ian Collins. Yeah. I used to work with him for many years, Ian, so make sure you tune in for that.
Good. Ian Collins back on breakfast. He used to do breakfast.
What's up with your Friday?
He used to do his nice little 1 o'clock start.
Anyway, but 03444991000, if you are listening live, then you're very welcome to indeed interact and give us a call, because he's Asher Gould. I'm Phil Dave, because poor Andre Walker is not feeling too tickety-boo. And Pete Barnes is also here trying to drum a bit of professionalism into this programme, so that's very exciting as well. But one way or another, we'll carry on having a look through the front pages for Thursday. Right. Oh, no, it's for Friday, isn't it? Because we're Thursday now.
It's Friday.
It's Friday's papers, isn't it? We're going to have a look at Friday's papers even right after this, sorry.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. It's me and Phil Dave, because Andre's ill, and we've got Pete Barnes. We're going through Friday's papers on a Thursday night. So if you're listening in the morning, Ian Collins is going to be coming up
on that front
after us. Yeah. Iron Maiden on The Guardian, 50 years of heavy metal and hard living. Aren't they from like Leytonstone or something?
Somewhere like that, yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? They've done so well. I mean, they started off
Want to make it out of Leytonstone?
Yeah, I mean, he's come out of Leytonstone. David Beckham, he came out of Leytonstone.
I think he did, actually,
so there must be something in the water. Anyway, the other story...
goodness me, The Guardian must be fuming. Oh my goodness
Foreign
me.
Office shuts unit tracking potential law breaches by Israel. But the thing is with...
they're not breaching the law, so actually that's probably why they've shut it.
A country with its own proper legal system isn't meant to be in, but, it has its own...
it's a functioning liberal democracy, but you'd forget that, really, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So The Guardian says the Foreign Office unit tracking potential breaches. Every day they remember to use the word potential breaches of international law by Israel in Gaza and more recently Lebanon has been closed because of cuts within the department. The Guardian can reveal. Well done, The Guardian. Thank goodness for you keeping an eye on Israel, those nasty Israelis. Well done.
Yeah, talk about somewhat of a bureaucratic reshuffle dressed up as a moral theatre story. It's a bit pathetic, actually.
Well, but that is The Guardian all over.
Because they've basically blown up their own government, basically, because they helped put Keir Starmer in power, and now they've got to kind of, hop back on the kind of progressive bandwagon and bash Israel for a bit.
Yeah, well, quite. I was going to say...
That's the only thing they're all unified on, isn't it?
I think it is the only thing I can think of that they all actually agree on.
They'll even support the Iranian regime. I saw a horrendous picture today of 12 women in their 20s all going to be executed. Yeah. I mean, it's horrendous, the amount of execution, and it's just horrible out there. And these leftists supporting this horrendous hanging raped women.
Yeah, well, I noticed that The Guardian and other diehard lefty lovies don't really call for a system to be set up or a department to be set up to monitor the abhorrent behaviour of the Iranian regime. I noticed that. You know, what about if actually they were to say that the persecution towards Persian people over the years has been so despicable in Iran that actually that's maybe where a unit should be set up, and then we might actually start learning the truth of the Middle East conflict. No, but we don't want to do that because it's much easier to start bashing Israel.
Oh, it's much easier, and it's a national pastime for them.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, of course, is that people like The Guardian and others don't realise is that I promise you, Israel does not give a hoot what you think. I promise you.
Well, they can't afford to, can they? I mean,
no,
they don't need to.
Yeah, I think that's the real tonal difference in Benjamin Netanyahu in the last 2 years is they don't care about being the bad guy anymore. They've given up trying to kind of play the PR game.
Ultimately, they have to protect themselves, don't they? And they're in a dangerous neighbourhood. The Daily Express, and we talked about this earlier, there is one last chance. Your true stories will have the power to inspire MPs to change the terrible criminal law that is causing so much unnecessary suffering. And there's Esther Ann. She looks fantastic. I don't know if that's a current picture, but Dame Esther calls on readers to make their voices heard on assisted dying. What's your view on assisted dying?
I've been one of the biggest supporters of assisted dying since I was even aware of the concept, but that monstrosity of a bill should never have entered the floor of the House of Commons. It is absolutely ridiculous. They stripped out all the protections. They basically did the one thing that you shouldn't do. Look around the world, look what didn't work, and they put that in the bill. Not what did, what didn't, and that is now what we've got. It's every bad bit.
But once you put in the protections, they just get taken away anyway. Once you open that door, you end up like Belgium, where
all you had to do on that one was you make it like the Coronavirus Act, that every year or every 2 years it has to be reactivated by a parliamentary vote, and then for so many years you make it a referendum issue. That's what you could have done.
Apart from anything, I mean, you could argue that it's easily because there's so much cross-party hatred for the idea of assisted dying that it could almost be some sort of like perverse sabotage on it.
Yeah.
So that actually, if they know full well that there are elements to that bill that clearly are not going to go down well with, at the very least, the Lords, but it's actually funny enough the Lords weren't too bad in this instance, but actually, I mean, even if you sort of look at the Commons and across the different benches, they're going to turn around and say, oh, no, this is flawed, we're not going to do. Well, of course, if it's flawed and you've introduced it as a flawed bill, well, there's no wonder, there's no flipping wonder it's not going to pass.
I also don't think this should have been introduced as a private member's bill either. I think this should have been in a manifesto. I do think this needed a national vote on it. This shouldn't have just been a backbench bill, in my honesty.
Aren't we just looking at a potential situation again of leaving the European Union, where actually it was a really simple question with an awful lot of grey area to it, though?
Yes, definitely.
So if we were to ask the British public, do you support assisted dying, yes or no, well then that doesn't necessarily cover all of the grounds in the middle.
That's why I said what they should do is you make it the way that it's been done, then you have 2 years, then
a referendum every 2 years is part of the law.
Yeah, it's exactly like the Coronavirus Act, but they just did it as a parliamentary vote. So you have to reactivate it every single time.
Should we change that system? I mean, now with the internet and digital ID, well, we're not, but online, we could have more referenda.
Yes, there is the big theory actually that digital democracy is coming, whether we like it or not. And it's the bigger problem is, are our phones secure? Are our tech, I mean,
well,
the number of times...
it's secure for banks in the main, isn't it? Well, occasionally it goes wrong, but my bank's never had a problem.
I would rather trust a bank than I would trust the British government with my data.
Yeah.
And because most of the time it just gets left on a train by a civil servant who's had too many wines.
At the very least, the bank,
with a bag of weapons.
At least the bank has got some sort of financial incentive because they obviously need your money to be a
if the bank behaved like a government did, the bank would probably close the next day, realistically.
Well, quite.
The Daily Mirror. Dream job. Sarah Cox delighted as she replaced Scott Mills. What's your view about Scott Mills and all that? Never convicted or anything, but suddenly out of the BBC. And
I've always found this story quite interesting, really, because why him? I mean, they missed Hugh Edwards, they missed everything else, but they managed to get this one, and yes, he didn't seem to have really done anything wrong that I know of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the same time, I hear what you're saying, but could it be there is no smoke without fire? And actually, the BBC, rather than go down the path of trying to cover up yet another scandal, they thought, actually, we've learned from that we need to act quickly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I must admit, personally, I would have thought the obvious thing to do is to wait until someone's actually convicted of a crime.
I think that is the big point.
But the thing is, you've got a conviction in a criminal court is beyond reasonable doubt. They have to look at it on a probabilities thing as a civil claim. And also, if they think it would pass muster in that,
I think the fact that it went to the CPS and they declined to prosecute, I think that would probably lend weight to it not being, of credible grounds or whatever, but why was this kind of sat on for so long? I think that is the real story of this, is yet again the BBC is being reactive, not proactive in its kind of management of top talent. And, you know, this is why they keep getting into trouble, is the incident happens, they overreact with the next one, and they don't learn from it. And I think this is why...
They try and cover up a lot of the times.
They try and cover it up. That is a huge problem. And the best one you have to look for that is Martin Bashir and the
Diana
the fact they're still trying to get the documents. They're still trying to get documents about what
he became religious correspondent, and then he had heart palpitation. He couldn't do it because he was ill. And
they let him go, and then they brought him back. They brought the guy back. I mean, at what point do you have to say that this institution is just not...
It's a bit like Mandelson. Why do they keep bringing him back? Have they got something on them? Is that what it is?
I actually think on that one, I've been thinking about this for like the last couple of days. I think it's because they won't say, because they brought Mandelson in because he speaks Trump. And they thought that he
was doing a good job out there.
Yeah, well, he wasn't, I think. But I think it's more on the lines of how little they thought of Trump, what the perception of him. That's why they won't say it out loud. That's why Starmer won't say, because it's actually all about the negative perception they have of the president.
They liked the previous one, didn't they, the Americans?
Oh, yeah, well, the one that was half asleep and didn't know anything.
Yeah, they like him, yeah.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
They like Sleepy Joe. There's another story on front page of the Daily Mirror, which we need a bit more time to chat about. So what we'll do is, why not, let's take another breather, and we'll discuss it more in just a bit, because he's Asher Gould, I'm Phil Dave, because poor old Andre is off sick, and Pete Barnes, thankfully, is also here. We were going through Friday's papers. More after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk with Ash and Phil, because Andre's sick as a pig. We've got Pete Barnes with us. We're going through the papers in 15 minutes, so we're going to be taking your call. 03444991000. So call and we'll call you back. Make sure you get on. We're going to have Claire, Lawrence, Roy, Robert and Paula. But tell us about
if you are listening, by the way, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m, then we're not going to take your calls in the next hour.
Ian Collins is on if you listen in the morning, so...
So yeah, I mean, this is a truly shocking story on the front page of the Daily Mail. HIV predator jailed for life. Infected by a monster is their headline, because apparently he targeted young men and teens across the country over 7 years. Youngest victim, 15 years old. Relives the horror of being told he was positive. So a depraved predator who travelled the country on a 7-year mission to infect young men with HIV has, thank goodness, been jailed for life. What a disgrace.
23 years minimum. The guy, Adam Hall, he was 15 when they met, said, I just got off the school bus when the phone rang and the nurse said I was HIV positive. I was mortified. I kept thinking, why did you do it? Hall refused to face his victims in Newcastle Crown Court, and he was given 23 years minimum for 5 counts of rape and 7 of GBH for the infection.
Yeah, this is horrific and perverse and gross, and I can't stand it, really, because I think
it actually makes me feel a bit sick.
He should get a whole life term for that. I mean, he hasn't murdered, because now it's not a death sentence like it was.
The thing is, though, that it is a long-term health risk, no matter what it is.
It will ruin, because you've got to declare it to other people.
It's a whole thing, and a 15-year-old kid was put through it. I mean,
it's definitely going to affect you.
Yeah, I mean, there is a real problem of this amongst the gay community, and we don't talk about it because we've got to protect the gays. The gays have to be wonderful, and
it doesn't sound like anyone is protecting if you allow monsters like this.
But that's because the gay community will not call these instances out because it makes them look bad. They always want positive headlines, and unfortunately that allows bad people to operate in the shadows, and that is what that's the real bit of this I actually can't stand. Is these things happen all the time. They try and hush it up. They try and hush it up. Right. And I mean, it is actually very, very concerning, and it's one of the reasons I actually don't really like what's known as the gay establishment, like the Stonewall and all these kind of organisations, because where are they on this story?
Well, a lot of gay people, I've heard Douglas Murray saying they've actually, it's changed now. Gay people have just become normalised and everything, and now they've brought in the LGBTQ plus, and it's actually sort of changed everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has.
Gay men have now become sort of the straight white man in a way.
Do you want to know why that is, though? It's because gay men moved into middle-class professions and started to vote with their wallets a lot more, so they actually
pink pound.
The pink pound.
Dear,
there's a lot of money in the pink pound.
It's outrageous. How dare anyone behave normally regardless of their sexuality? What's wrong with them?
Exactly. The I paper, shoot and kill. Trump's new orders to US Navy in Gulf. I thought they were meant to do that anyway. As Iran peace talks stall, Israel's defence minister threatens to return Iran to the dark and stone ages at the same time.
I mean, I have to say, though, I'm sorry, but I mean, the defence minister needs to realise that actually the Iranian regime is doing a pretty good job of taking Iran into the Stone Ages anyway.
President tells US military to attack Iranian ships in the Straits of Hormuz as part of struggle to control waterway. Tense standoff as fears grow of return to conflict, with both sides hardening their stance. And the Houthis are now getting involved at the Red Sea. It's oil price. This is bad news, isn't it, for the world?
It is. But the one thing that the article doesn't actually explain what they mean by a Iranian ship. It's more of a dinghy, more of like a jet ski, because they basically 90% of the Iranian navy was blown out of the water, literally blown apart. They don't have a navy. Their blockade is literally these kind of jet ski, and they're using the mines and they're kind of making the area unsafe.
Asymmetric warfare. It's like the drones thing, and that's why the Americans actually copied the Iranian drone, the Shaheed drone, £30,000, based on the V1 Doodlebug bomb from the Germans had. And basically America said, well, we can't keep firing £2 million missiles to blow up $30,000, so they've invented their own $30,000 Shaheed drones with sort of laser guided systems, and so that you're having to fight them at their own guerrilla game.
So Israel's new iron laser system, which is sort of these, if you see
iron
like
sling, isn't it?
It seems like the successor to the Iron Dome. So they still have Iron Dome system, but the Iron Laser, or the Iron Beam, I beg your pardon, sorry, it's Iron Beam is what it's called. The Iron Beam system is the sort of seen as the successor of it, and actually it is done with such precision. They were saying that apparently with every single intervention the Iron Dome does, apparently it costs something horrendous,
like $100,000
each or something
missile.
Terrible. But yet Iron Beam, apparently the intervention costs a couple of $100 each.
Apparently $2. It's literally a laser beam.
We have it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's called Dragonfly. We have the exact same thing. It's called Dragonfly, and it's about £120 per laser compared to $2 million per warhead.
Sounds a lot for a laser beam firing, doesn't it?
So this is one of the things that I find slightly baffling about Western media and the way that they are portraying the Iranian state, as if somehow how the Iranian state is still as strong as it ever was.
That is a really, really good point.
I don't really understand why they're doing this, and I tell you how I know factually that Iran is seriously weakened is because there is an application that Israelis have called the Homefront Command app, and what it does is it alerts you to whenever there is a rocket attack going on in the country, and it warns you within a couple of minutes to get to a shelter to keep yourself and your family protected. Now, at the peak of the Iran war, this app was going off once every couple of hours, easily once every couple of hours, and yet I haven't actually seen it really go off for like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's because the precision of the Israeli and American exercise to which they just capitulated in Iran was absolutely phenomenal.
But it's so bizarre. I don't understand why Western media seems to portray Iran as strong.
Because it's
very
Trump.
strange.
Yeah, well, it's Trump derangement syndrome, isn't it? Because they're actually doing very well out there. They're obviously not going to win the war easily, but they've destroyed they've won.
The reality is Trump is on a bit of a deadline. He's got 8 days to make this work, because then he runs out of the 60 days before Congress has to have another vote on whether they continue military action.
Indeed,
so he's got 8
at the same
days to get this
time,
done.
I actually put it to you, I wonder whether or not Trump is there, because one thing I will always say about President Trump is I know he comes across as a bit of a bumbling idiot sometimes, but the one thing is for sure, he is a very, very clever man.
I don't think he's not bumbling, is he? He's sort of,
well, when it goes off script, he can't string
well,
it.
He's never on a script, so is he really?
Well,
That's why you don't know what he's going to do.
But my point being is that I wonder whether or not he's just playing a very, very clever game here, because he knows how annoyed the American population is with him for even going into Iran without
not
actually
as
putting
annoyed as
understanding.
people think.
No, some people think it's the right decision, don't they?
No, but there are quite a few who are clearly annoyed because he's using taxpayers' money on another war that they don't necessarily agree with, and as a result of it, he's worried about losing support. So I actually think now, by him looking like he's backing off and crumbling and coming across as, oh dear, I've made a mistake, all that's actually doing is it's boosting, hopefully, the fact that he's saying, all right, well, I was wrong about this, but actually he's achieved most of what he wanted to achieve anyway.
He's already got what he wanted, which was basically the removal of the Ayatollah and half of one, and then you've got the kind of the narrowing down of oil and into China. That is all he really wanted.
Well, no, but the main thing is the nuclear missile development. That's the elephant in the room, and they can't be allowed. Israel certainly won't allow.
And this is the idea that I keep hearing this narrative that I thought it was regime change. One thing we learned from Iraq was you can't do regime change from an air assault. So what you do is you batter them down so that they are. You still have the regime in place, but they can't do anything.
Well, they're hoping the people will take over.
And that is a huge,
the Persians
huge
are really
difference.
starting to rise up now.
Yeah.
And I do deliberately say Persians, by the way, because if you think about sort of the way that Persia, as it once was, and the number of people who go around saying free Palestine, well, how about free Persia? There's a good idea. But the Persian people really have been so unbelievably oppressed by the Iranian regime. So,
and also the economic catastrophe that actually started a lot of this was actually because the Iranian people started to say, wait a minute, why are you spending billions on this nuclear program when we've literally got crumbling schools, we've got no infrastructure, everything was collapsing around them. Even the most fervent kind of Ayatollah supporters, which were the people who run the bazaars, were saying, this is ridiculous and it has to stop. And that is how a lot of this actually got off the ground.
Rare axolotl found 5,000 miles from home in Wales.
That sounds like a Disney movie.
It's a sort of crab type thing, but I think
axolotls do actually look a little bit like Disney characters.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I mean,
they smile a lot.
Once they come here, it's actually becomes a native species, because I remember an orchid seed landed on a building in London because of some crazy storm. It had come from thousands of miles away, and they said, well, actually, because it's landed naturally in London, it now becomes a native.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly our attitude towards migration.
Well, yeah. You just wonder, no paperwork, and there you go.
I saw a sea eagle the other day on the Thames, like this massive. I didn't know we even had one. A sea eagle. It's this enormous eagle, 8 foot.
Was it not just a big seagull?
No. Well, I looked it up. I took a photo of this bird, and Google automatically went to sea eagle. You know what I mean? It identical. Yeah. And this 8-foot bird, like flying over, it was unbelievable.
Wow,
they never tell us that these things are around, and then you spot them, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
I found birds weird in general.
Well, they're dinosaurs.
I'd heard this.
I have this thing about birds. I'm sorry.
I don't like them when they're all flapping around. I used to live with a budgie, and they used to throw it in the room, and it would land on your hand and masturbate.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
What?
No, that's what this girl.
I'm not going to
She
lie.
had
We
this
made it all the way.
13-year-old
Really
male
hope you're
budgie.
not
And
just
she would
about to
fly
enjoy your
around like that,
breakfast.
right? It would fly around about 8 times, and then because it was old, it was knackered, and it would sort of land, try and land on you, and then it would land on her hand, and it would start rubbing its tail. I go, what's doing? Oh, he's just having sex with my hand, isn't he lovely? And I go, oh, and then it would leave like a little bit of the budgie, like it was disgusting. You don't never live with the budgie.
Anything for a cheap trill.
Do you know in the 1950s the budgie was the most common pet? Forget dogs, cats, budgies.
Well, that says a lot about that decade, really, doesn't it? I have this thing against birds. I'm sorry. If you keep birds, I'm sure you're fine, but no.
Yeah. Anyway, from Feathers McGraw, right. Daily
What's
Mail.
this about Farage?
Yeah, Farage. I'll wage war on benefits culture. Reform leader tells Mail he'll face down riots, protests and strikes to cut bloated welfare bill. Too right. Nigel Farage has vowed to wage war on Britain's benefits culture. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, the reform... I mean, you say exclusive interview, to be honest with you. I mean, Nigel Farage is quite good at speaking to everyone, to be honest. But anyway, in this particular instance, anyway, the Reform UK leader has said that he was ready to face down protests, strikes and even riots to cut the bloated benefits bill, should his party seize power at the next election.
That's wonderful. That's rhetoric, and it's absolutely meaningless because he's not telling us how he's going to do it.
Well, it just sounded like it's going to be hardcore.
That is literally just an article as we're weeks away from the elections. That is all this is. He's positioning it's not policy.
Didn't he? Well, actually, the poll tax riots, you know, she did actually back down, didn't she?
Okay, but actually, as much as I understand what you're saying, to be fair though, I try and think to myself, sort of in the run-up to it. I mean, I said the run-up. It's not really a run-up to any general election, for crying out. Unfortunately, we're years off a general election. However, the point is that if you do think about sort of the different leaders and when they speak about, they do normally say the policy rather than actually how they're going to implement it. So I don't think this is vastly
Well, I do think that's part of the problem as to why we've ended up with the last lot and the mess we've been in for the last 15 years is we've confused...
But over the last decades, you know, I don't ever remember Tony Blair saying how he was going to implement
look how
policy.
that worked out.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not going to pretend he did an amazing job, but I still don't remember how anyone actually... I mean, obviously, I'm sort of too young to remember John Major campaigning, but I mean... Can't ever imagine he'd actually
you know, before Tony Blair, we had the same standard. We were slightly actually better standard of living in America, and now we are half that. We're now half the wage.
If we were a state, we'd be the 51st one in terms of economic output.
That's right. We've got a lower, even in like Mississippi, where they're all like that.
Even Rhode Island is doing better than we are.
So we are at least in a state.
That guy on the banjo in that Deliverance film with Burt Reynolds, they're ahead of us.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound very good.
That says a lot. Have we done all the papers?
No, we haven't done the Star yet, have we?
Daily Star. What's the thought? News with a wink.
I beg your pardon.
Thought for the day, rise and shine.
Talking about the budgie again?
Yeah. Budgie smugglers. Sarah to replace Mills, we've gone through that. Coxey, I've got my dream job on Radio 2. DJ ecstatic, chuffed and honoured. How much would she get paid? Because what's the name? Zoe Balls got £1 million and then took a pay cut and I was only on 800 grand or something. What's she going to be paid? Come on, you know these things.
Do I?
Well, you're a northerner. I mean, she's northern, so...
yes, because we all do know each other.
You all discuss each other's wages.
300 quid a week or something for that.
Yeah, and, you know, it's whether you're on, you know, 3 rabbits in a car...
She's from Bolton, isn't she? Bolton.
She is from Bolton, actually.
She's all right, actually, I've heard. My mate Dave knows her. Yeah, she's all right.
Everyone's mate Dave.
Well, I mean, look, I do think one thing is very clear, actually. It seems staggering to me, the amount of discrepancy there is between the different presenters' wages, depending on... And there are some who've earned 6-figure sums. I think one or two even 7 figures. But you know, and then
Alan Brazil, Julia Hartley Brewer, and then there's us lot.
Yeah, but I also think trying to work out, you know, wages in the entertainment or kind of any kind of media business is not really the right way to do it, because if you do different shows, you've got different pull factors. You know, it's when they do it with movie stars. I'm like, nobody's going to watch a film with a C-rate actor. Of course, the person who's got the bigger name gets paid more money. They're the pull.
They're the ones.
You know, it's.
But are they value for money? They might be the bigger pull. Are they value for money?
It's like I had a mate who's an actor, and he was in a film with Dennis Hopper, and I go, how come you're in the film? And he goes, well, what they do is these big stars, they pay them £500,000 to do 2 days acting, and because it puts their name on it, it adds the value. So a lot of these actors will do. You'll see them in crap films because they've been paid $1 million for doing 2 days.
My father used to call it. It's a pony wants a daughter wants a pony tour. In other words, whether you suddenly they come back.
Was your dad an agent?
No. It's just one of those things that he always says is when somebody see an older celebrity back in the news for no apparent reason, it's because their daughter wants a pony.
Well, there you go.
They went to the BBC and been caught out.
Peter Barnes, thank you so much for going through Friday's front pages with us. That's very exciting. It's nice to see you. And now coming up after the midnight hour, we're going to have a whole hour dedicated to you and your calls.
Call 0344 499 1000. It's me and Phil. We'll call you back as well. You know, if you're a bit of a skinflint, you can leave us a message on that number on WhatsApp if you're a bit
And there's
scared.
loads to talk about as well, isn't there?
There's things to talk about. So much. Anyway, thanks, Pete. When are you next on?
I'm back with...
well, he'll be back.
We don't know. He'll be back anyway.
He'll be back probably
and we'll be back right after this. See you in a sec.
Right,
yeah. See you.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yep, it's Phil and Ash, and we're on Talk. Andre's sick. Anyway, it's going to be all about your calls. We're talking about all kinds of things. Illegal immigrants giving £662 million to the French.
St George's Day is done for another year.
St George's Day, also William Shakespeare's birthday it was.
Well,
Happy birthday, Wilhelm. We're also talking about the assisted dying bill, all kinds of things. And whatever you want to talk about, 0344 499 1000. You can leave us a WhatsApp voice note on that as well if you want to. Let's go to Paula.
Sorry.
Have you got any messages, have you?
We've got messages, but should we get Paula's waiting? So let's say
Paula,
hi, Paula.
the caller.
Hello.
Paula the caller.
All right, Paula.
Hello.
Morning.
Paula, hi.
Oh, Ash, how are you doing?
Oh, I suppose I don't exist. All right,
Phil's
fair
here
enough.
as well.
Okay, speak to Ash, I don't mind.
Who's Phil, the cat's mother?
Yeah.
Ash, can you hear me?
Hello, what about me? I'm here as well, you know.
No, I can't.
Oh,
I
yes,
can't.
hello.
Oh, there, hi.
Very hurtful, very hurtful.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, how can we help you, Paula?
Paula doesn't want to speak to me. She wants to speak to you. I'll leave you to
Well,
it.
you can't blame her.
Yeah.
What's up, Paula?
No, I was just going to talk about James. Every single conversation that I had with him
And he'd cut you off, wouldn't he, and shout at you?
Starting to see why if he ignored her.
Not always, not always.
No, he didn't.
Sometimes he just cut you off.
I've got every conversation that I ever had with him saved on my phone. I have.
You've done what down the phone?
She saved every conversation on her phone.
Oh, you've saved it on the phone?
Did you record it?
Yeah.
Did you tell him that you were recording it at the time? Because you're not supposed to record. You're supposed to tell people you're recording conversations.
Have you got that built in on your phone, a recording device? Are we being recorded now? Are you going to listen to this for posterity in a few years' time?
No, it's for training and quality purposes. She wants to be a better caller.
Monitoring, yeah.
Ash, behave yourself.
All right, man.
Yeah, go on,
Sorry,
Ash.
man.
Yeah.
Behave yourself, man.
Behave me, son.
Right, listen. James, go back to James.
Yeah.
Do you miss him?
Of course I do, and actually, it's a bit of a shock at first as well, and it sort of hits you more again in a year later. You know, it's like nearly a year, and it hits you in different ways as time goes on. You know what I mean? Because then you realise, God, it's been nearly a year, and and of course there's a walk for the hospice that Nadine, his wife, is arranging. I think that's next week. I think she might be coming on the show tomorrow, so make sure you tune in from 10 tomorrow night, and it might be me and Phil, or it might be me and Andre, or you
don't know yet. It might just be you, to be honest.
But what do you want to talk about then? Was it just that?
No. I wanted to talk about other things.
Oh, what other things
tell us, give us a clue about what it was, the other things.
No, I wanted to say, and how are you coping with James's loss?
Well, you know, it's a tough one. Like I say, you know, I miss him very much. You know, we had a great show, great friendship for 30 years, I think it was, since 1995.
I have to tell you as well, it's extraordinary because obviously I didn't know Monsieur Whale anywhere near as well as you did, or indeed the length of time you did. But in the limited time that I was privileged enough to get to know him, and he, without doubt, one of the nicest guys in this industry. And you can't say that about everyone. Believe me, there are plenty of.
He was a very good guy.
Plenty of Rosses in this industry, and yet I remember when we all found out the day that the worst happened. The feeling in the office was just awful. It was really, really horrendous for all of us, to be honest.
But it happened. I mean, it happened even a couple of years before. There was a time when he got very ill and he was off, and people were going, "Oh, and he'd come back from it." So it was sort of always a shock.
Yeah, do you remember
it was a shock.
Do you remember that time, Ash? When they did the birthday cake. Birthday cake.
What birthday cake?
Shape as a whale.
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Gonna say I've got that recorded as well.
Have you?
You might have to open some sort of audio museum or
start
something.
A YouTube account.
No, I'm like Mr. Morse. What they call it? Inspector Morse.
You see, the problem is though, because now, I mean, like, I wouldn't possibly dare do what Mr. Whale did, because the number of times he told you to shush Ash. I mean,
thousands of times. Thousands.
Loads of times.
The thing is with James is irreplaceable.
That's for sure.
Literally.
Totally and utterly.
Well,
completely and utterly agree. As are you, Paula. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
No, she's replaceable. With James, let's replace her with Janice.
Janice is an Essex.
I love Janice, yeah. Hi, Janice. What's going on, man?
Oh, thank God somebody
She just calls into, because she ain't got a radio.
Sorry, hang on. What do you mean, thank God what? Sorry? You going religious?
Thank God someone does.
What? Thank God someone what? Sorry?
Just humour her.
Oh, sorry.
Ash.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I am here. What's wrong with everyone this evening?
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, quiet. Anyway, sorry.
But no, Janice phones us because she ain't got a radio. She doesn't really need to talk, but we bring her on anyway.
Oh, I see.
Janice, what's up, man?
Do you want to say to Ash then?
What's up, Janice?
Well, I do need to talk because I've got only the cat and the TV, and they're all fed up
Talk
with
to the
it.
cat.
Oh, no, he's had enough. Even he wants to leg it all the time.
How many cats do you have?
One.
A boiler's broken.
Sorry, your cat is called Ratbag?
Yeah.
She's useless cat. She's got a plague with rats in her house. She is.
He's named after an angel.
You've got rats in your house,
I don't remember an angel called Ratbag.
No more rats. Look, I'm known on your programmes now as Rat
You're
Woman.
Rat Woman, yeah, because you had dancing rats on the. How did you get rid of the rats then, Janice?
But you wouldn't let me tell you about the flies after the rats.
The flies?
That's normally how it goes.
You will let me tell you.
There was an old lady who swallowed a rat, and then it carries on until they get...
Let me tell you about what happened after the rats.
I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. There was an old lady. Sorry. Hundreds? Well, that's not many in the fly world, because you have a fly infestation.
It's in 2 bedrooms when you want to go up there.
Well, why have you left some rotten fruit? I've done that, and you've left some rotten fruit somewhere. And
I did not. It was up in a bedroom.
Well, what have you? Something rotting in your bedroom, then, isn't it?
No, it was because of the bloody rats.
What was a dead rats? Why were the rats? Why did they go?
You just have, but don't worry about it.
Were the rats so sick with your house? They thought it was so unhygienic. They left the rats. Is that why?
No, something happened. I saw flies coming down here, and I think...
How often do you empty out your fridge?
So you had 5 rats coming down the stairs?
Yeah, but you know me as Rat Woman.
Well, because you got rats, haven't you?
You could be known as Fly Woman now if you want.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's sort of how we remember you, as a Rat Woman.
And I'm rat.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean...
I think I'm in the twilight zone, sorry.
But anyway, you got rid of the rats, and you had flies, because of the rats, they like the...
Something crept in somewhere. I looked for every little crevice. I walked up to the bedroom, and I turned the light on, and there were hundreds.
Are these
then I went in my bedroom.
The tiny flies or the big...
There was hundreds.
Big ones or the little one flies? Which
massive.
House flies.
Well, hang on. Hang on. How big are we talking with these flies?
Bigger than house flies? What sort of?
Hang on. How big are these flies?
Fat ones.
Tsetse flies. Were they tsetse flies?
Trying to tread on them into the carpet.
But hang on. But if they're too fat, then they can't fly. They'd be too heavy.
You sound like you had blue bottles. You sound like you had blue bottles.
Where I had a carpet.
You had a dead body in there.
Ooh.
Well. Yeah, I could name a few that I'd like to put in there.
Okay, thank you. Right, anyway,
you probably shouldn't name them.
No.
Anyway, how was Eastbourne?
I never went to Eastbourne. Everyone says I've gone to Eastbourne. No, it was just a rumour. I just thought I'd just get a night off, did some gardening.
Hang on a minute.
But I do like Eastbourne.
Going on. I
know, but I was never in Eastbourne.
You could have come to Clacton.
Well, yeah, I didn't know, did I? Because no one told me. No one said Janice has invited you with the rats in Clacton because they thought I was in Eastbourne.
No, I mean, that's an offer. Who'd have turned that down?
Exactly, I would have come down.
Maybe actually, do you know what you could have done? Maybe you could have taken a swatter or something.
She hasn't even got a ceiling or a roof, you know, it's all open to the air.
No wonder she's got the flies in there, then they're just flying in.
I had a boiler for 5-6 years.
She had a boiler, and the council go around, they look at it and they go, right, see you later, and they don't do anything.
I can't even get you on a channel. I had 2 days.
Well, you've done a very good job so far.
It's made you...
coming round, sorting it out. One guy didn't do the job properly.
But
the second one came in.
It makes you stronger, doesn't it? It makes you more hardy and resilient.
I'm sure in their absence, I'm sure they'd argue otherwise. You've got what, sorry?
4 TVs.
4 TVs? And you can't get any of them to work?
And one of them, only one of them's the size of a postage stamp with an indoor aerial that don't get any channels.
Well, I'm not surprised because the analogue signal's been turned off.
Is it the old? Yeah, you've got the old CRT tellies.
Yeah.
No, I've got a new TV.
It doesn't sound very new.
Your channel.
But have you got Wi-Fi? You see, that's another story. Well, you can't.
I have got Wi-Fi.
You've got to
hold on to your braces.
I've got Wi-Fi, mate.
Well, why don't you watch us? We're also on Amazon. We're on Amazon Prime. You can watch Talk or Rakuzans.
No.
Apple TV.
What can I get you on?
Apple TV,
Amazon, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. Google TV. You can get us on.
Loads of it. I mean, all of it. Samsung, LG TV. They all have it.
Samsung TV Plus. We're all over the place.
Not on this bloody TV. I can't.
Well, haven't you got someone that can come round and put it on for you? We're on channel. If you've got Freeview, I think it's 280 if it's connected to the Wi-Fi.
Can't even get Freeview on this thing. I'm stuck with a post.
Is it a colour telly or is it one of them little 14-inch where you turn the thing?
Yeah, this one's about. I don't even think it's like. I've got 2 TVs dead out in it. One friend's come round, got one, got no legs.
What, your friend hasn't got any legs?
It's a bit like me after down the local.
You shouldn't take advantage of her.
Oh, I've got a laugh. Honestly, I've got a laugh, mate.
Well, you cry if you didn't.
Quite, yeah.
Well, I'm fed up crying when I don't.
Have you thought of investing in a radio? Because if you don't have much luck with televisions, maybe you should try radio.
Get a DAB, obviously, for us, yeah.
No, don't need that.
No, we obviously do.
Internet.
You have got the internet. I think you don't have the internet.
If you put your TV or phone together with the internet, you'll be able to get us.
Yeah, right.
It's never going to happen, though, is it? You'll just keep ringing us.
With another device. Right. My tablet's been out of use for years.
Your what's been out of use?
Out of use. My phone's absolutely stunning.
Which sounds all right now. Sounds all right now.
So I can get you on all these bloody QR things, mate.
Language.
Yeah, QR codes. Yeah, QR codes.
A little kit.
Yeah, all right, Janice, come on, Janice. This is a family-friendly show. Come on now. But look, at the same time, I have to ask, like, what do you do with technology that is just going so horribly wrong?
Well, what do you mean, Bob? What do I do?
Yeah, well, she calls us and tells us about it.
What?
I call you that's on
true.
The phone.
Yeah, oh no, that's true.
Moan about it.
Well, we're very grateful you did. Thanks, Janice. 0344.
Stay there, though, Janice. We might come to you.
Should we go? Because we've got Jerry's there as well.
Yeah, because what we like to do is come back every now and then to Janice throughout the other calls.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Janice, so Janice, stay there. Okay, so hold that thought then, and let's see what Jerry in Burton-on-Trent has. Hi, Jerry.
We've got to
go to break first, have we? Sorry.
Let's do a break.
Oh, sorry.
Back with Jerry
a bit sooner.
Burton-on-Trent, the home of beer, after this.
Ooh.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Andrew in Salisbury has sent us a text message, Asher, and he said Ash and Phil really work well together, so that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we do. We've done a show before, haven't we, together?
Yeah, we did.
Very good.
And both times you've sort of been like thrown in the deep end with me because you didn't know it was going on both times.
Yeah, do you remember that show in the deep end with Chris Searle?
No.
Too young. I knew you were.
Yeah, but I'm too young for Henry VIII, so I knew who that was.
Oh, really? You should have learnt about that. You learnt about Henry VIII in history.
Yeah,
like you should have learnt in at the deep end with Chris Searle in history.
Well, I learnt
Dumb down Britain.
Well, I learnt about Listen with Mother.
Oh, yeah, that was good, that was, yeah. Jerry in Burton-on-Trent.
Oh, sorry, Jerry.
Listen
Hi, Jerry.
with Mother.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
It's nice to see you back. Honestly,
from Eastbourne, where I wasn't in Eastbourne. But,
I've missed the Mark Dolan impressions. I really.
Oh yes, and don't forget, I won't be on this morning from 6. It'll be Ian Collins, so make sure you call him. And thanks to Phil and Ash for an excellent show.
Marvellous. I've got about 4 things, guys. That are really bugging me.
Well, the show finishes at 1 a.m, so go for it.
Yeah, man.
Well, there was mention about Eastbourne, which apparently you like.
I do like it. I wasn't there, though, but I will be going in a month or 2.
You're going to have to now.
Yeah,
just to say you have to.
Because it's like old England when you go down
Eastbourne.
there.
It's got a very low crime rate. Did you know that?
Apart from when I'm down there.
Well, I mean, the truth is, it's primarily because I think everyone's too old to realise they've been burgled.
Well, what's happening with the pier?
It's been bought by a bloke for about 50 grand, and now it's on for sale. He's put it on for sale for about 3.5 million. But it's in a nice state.
Isn't that shocking? I mean, what's the flogging that. You see, this is, you know, what was it old Macmillan said years ago? They're selling off the family silver. I mean, goodness sake, really, really shocking.
Well, yeah, exactly. The family silver's got. I mean, Gordon Brown sold off the gold. We've got nothing.
Decision. Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is, in the Mirror today, they're talking about another attack by a man with an axe in Acton Park. And
in Acton Park, right? Yeah.
In Acton Park.
That must be Thursday's Mirror,
in West London.
No, I mean that's
Aston Park.
Aston?
By the Villa Ground.
Acton.
Oh, Acton. Right. Acton, yeah. West London, yeah.
And this poor guy's, you know, fighting for his life, just taking over a stroll, and I mean, for God's sake.
Just randomly attacked.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's happened to this country? Seriously.
Well, I mean, we saw with Callaghan, they let him out because they said there's too many people of colour in this, you know, in this place, so we've got to let. And he went out, and so there's a lot of people with mental illnesses, with schizophrenia, who aren't taking their medication or something. And then we hear it all the time, don't we? Suddenly, there was a mass stabbing in Birmingham the other day. Although I think it was a different thing. But there's a lot of people out there who will just, you know, think you're the devil or something, hear voices, and then, you know, there's people dying because of this, because people don't want to take responsibility, go, oh, we'll be seen as racist if we do this, or we've got to be, you know, politically correct, and it ends up costing
I do think
lives.
It is mad, though, that we seem to put people's feelings above people's safety. That's one thing that I just can't get my head around. The fact that we are so hell-bent on making sure that we don't offend anybody that actually we'll say we don't care if people die.
Well, because they don't, because now no one actually falls on their sword. No one's named as the, you know, person responsible, and they just come out and go, lessons will be learnt, and they're not learnt. So actually, if they put their head above the parapet, they could be, you know, cancelled or put out. Whereas if they don't and someone gets killed, well, they'd still get away with it and get to work another day.
Sorry, Jerry, you mentioned there are 4 things. We've heard 3, I think. Or is it 2?
Well, yeah, no, it's not just that, but also Car Giant is a car supermarket, and it's gone into liquidation.
Has it?
And it's.
I didn't see that. Goodness.
It's been in business for.
What the cars? Well, apparently, second-hand cars have fallen through the car prices generally have fallen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whoa, you're absolutely right. Good grief, I didn't see that. My goodness me.
Which one's this?
The Car Giants in Acton in West London.
Giant.
Wow. Good gracious me, that's unbelievable.
And of course, you know, all these EVs coming on the market because we should stop buying these dreadful Chinese heaps of rubbish that spy on you. And I don't know why people do it. But
well, the thing is, they're disposable, aren't they? Because you're not going to be able to sell an electric car, you know, when it's 5 years old and needs a battery that costs 30 grand to replace it. So we're basically buying inbuilt obsolescence. And cars these days, you don't really. I saw someone owned, I don't know which make of car it was, but they bought it and it had this special system you can do on Bluetooth and everything and Wi-Fi and, you know, lock your car from. And they've now said, no, you're not going to get that anymore. They can just take away certain features that you bought with your car because it's now 3 years old, or you have to pay a subscription or something. So even when you buy the car with all the features, you might lose those features. It's all this subscription and what they call enshittification of everything.
The what? Enshittification?
Enshittification.
Good gracious me. It's brave of you to say that.
Thanks, man.
It's funny that because on electric cars, they'll say we can enable a feature that you like, but it will cost you a subscription, not just a one-off payment, a subscription to use it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, BMW got in trouble because they had heated seats, and of course the elements were already in the seats, but to get it, you had to subscribe, and they went mad. I think they backed down. I remember Tesla, they did a long-range Tesla and they did a short-range Tesla, but actually there was no difference in the cars. It still could do long-range, a short-range one, but they programmed it in so it wouldn't. And when there was a hurricane, they said, as a bonus for everyone, we're going to allow you all to go long-range to get out of Texas. So they all have the same thing, but this is, again, enshittification.
Well, I've just recently bought a new petrol car.
Well done, that man. Good work.
And
I very nearly bought a diesel car the other day.
I've got a diesel, but I tell you what, if you're going out to buy a car, buy one before they became smart cars. because then they can't buy as mechanical as you can get, because then you can do them up and fix them, and they can't control you, the companies, because all the new cars in the European regulations say when you turn the car on, it's got to have the lane assistance, so it will keep you in lane, and apparently that's really bad. If you're trying to avoid a pothole, it'll put you back over the pothole, and that's the other thing I've noticed, potholes in the road. It's killing about 200 odd, it's going up the amount of potholes they're killing because we're using the wrong asphalt. There's a better quality asphalt. We lay this crap thinny stuff.
We're using the middle of the road stuff.
And it kills many cyclists every year and severely injures motorbike and cars and ruins cars. And it's, again, people not caring.
Yeah. And what sort of government have we got that doesn't bother to even focus on things that are so dangerous?
Sorry, did you say what sort of government have we got? How long have you got? We've only got 35 minutes left of this show.
We haven't really got a government.
I mean, it's just shocking. And the one thing that I was going to mention about, and I was so interested a couple of weeks back, I think it was, that you had Howard Cox on with...
yeah, he was great, yeah.
Andre. And I was hanging on to every word, and you got to a really key point where you were discussing Quentin Wilson, and you asked Howard, you said to him, now, why did he suddenly turn all... anti combustion engine and pro-electric, and then Andre decided to interject with some inane nonsense. And I know it can be loquacious, but really, I've been wondering what on earth his reply would have been to that, because he was going to explain.
Andre. I will have to ask him next time he's on. But I mean, if you think we know him, it would have been money, I would have thought, because Quentin Wilson, he was definitely a combustion engine man, wasn't he? He was like Clarkson, even more Clarkson than Clarkson in a way, and he was a bit like the Jack Nicholson of motor journalism.
Yeah.
He was very Nicholson, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah. Jerry, have you got any other points you want to tell us? I think
he had about four, didn't you?
Have we had three or four? 4 or 3 now? What is it? I've lost count. Sorry.
Any more?
Was there anything else?
Well, no, it's just that I think I kind of covered before, but the trouble is you can think of about 400,000 other ones.
Well, this is very true, but unfortunately we've got other calls to get to, and I don't want to lose you, Jerry, but it's really nice to have a chat with you again, and thank you so much. But just before we check it, we've got to check in with Janice again, haven't we? Because she's still there.
Janice, you all right, love?
Right, no, can I just say one thing?
Oh, really? Yeah, I was going to read messages.
Millions. And can I turn around and say to you...
Why are you facing the other way?
The asphalt, come and drive down along this road here. You will not find a bloody pothole.
Oh, God, they're in their language.
So you got rats. You got loads of rats, but you ain't got potholes, so it sort of swings and roundabout.
I'm not surprised she's got rats and flies. She's got a potty mouth on her.
She got flies, rats,
but
flies on you. No pothole problems. Thanks, Janice. We'll come back to you anyway. What is it, Phil? What have you found?
I look forward to that. Anyway, by the way, Danielle says, we forgot to say hello to producer Adam as well. Danielle saying hi.
He's there, isn't he? All right,
Adam. Julie says, Ash and Phil make a great team. So that's very nice of you, Julie. Thank you. Jules says, great show. You work well together, apparently. And Gary, who's a message from Glasgow, says, great show tonight, gentlemen. Much more entertaining than something called Fiona Bruce's Question Time. What's that?
Fiona Bruce's, it's since Dumblebee got... No one watches it anymore.
Oh.
No one watches it
I'm not sure what that is. And then there's also one here from Catherine. She says, good evening, guys. It's wonderful to hear more from Ash tonight. They're liking
it is, isn't it, Kath?
Yeah, you can hear
It's wonderful, isn't it?
News from Australia, apparently, goes on, Catherine, says that you'd be surprised to know that authorities suspect Gaza wardrobe Bondi shooter to terror. That's not completely a shock, to be honest with you. As reported in the Sydney Morning Herald. Thought I'd share that news. Have a good evening.
Did you see Meghan Markle? She was sort of put something about the Bondi, and you can buy stuff on her site for the Bondi, massacre.
Yeah, so she delightfully went to go and pose for a photo opportunity with victims of the Bondi shooting. And then immediately afterwards, the delightful, pointless Duchess of Sussex decided to have put online...
Is she not the Duchess anymore, though?
Is she not? I don't know.
They sort of claim they are, but I thought they... it's all a bit...
She's the Duchess of Surplus, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I know one way or another decided apparently to put online some clothes that she was wearing for hundreds of dollars, and she's on commission or something. It's vomit-worthy.
Dear. Very unsavoury. Anyway, we've got a little breaky, but we'll come back to Janice in a bit. And Kevin, Jerry... Oh, we had Jerry. Paula, Robert, Roy, and you two. 03444499.
That's exciting. And you as well.
Back after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. It's me and Phil. Neil
I don't know if it is, though, according to this latest message.
Well, Neil McCartney says the Jewish Statler and Waldorf. No, yeah. That's Phil and Ash. He loves us. Neil in Bell. Thanks, Neil.
But we don't have a balcony.
Catherine, Janice, Catherine says hello.
Oh, hi, Catherine.
There you go. Right, let's go to Kevin in Basingstoke. Kevin.
Uh-oh.
Morning.
Morning.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
All right,
if no more asylum seekers came to this country,
it would be bliss. Sorry, what? Sorry?
He would be devastated because it's his number one thing, isn't it? Because before it was, we've got to leave the EU and everything would be great. We left it. Now it's, if we scrap the ECHR, we'd rather send all these asylum seekers back, which is all nonsense. But so we'd be.
Why is it nonsense? It's a big subject for a lot of people.
No, it's not. No, I know it's. Well, of course, it's a big subject because he makes it a big subject.
No, it's a big subject because a lot of people. So you think people who have got migrants being moved into villages in parts of rural England aren't genuinely worried about it?
Well, only because I've been made to. I used to work in a hotel.
Well, there are genuine
people. Well, they're
people
being made to worry about it because of the action by those individuals.
There's people whose lives are in because, for instance, a woman was raped in Brighton by 3
I think that's
people.
quite right to be
left
worried.
Court smiling.
What I meant by nonsense, if just because you leave the ECHR doesn't mean he's going to be able to deport loads of people. Because he says he's going to deport 10,000 asylum seekers or 100,000, whatever the made-up number is. Most of them come from Iran and Eritrea. We haven't got returns agreements with Iran or
Don't need return agreements.
Yeah, but we can do something with them rather than just let them roam the streets.
Don't need return agreements.
Yeah, of course you do. What, you're just going to fly a plane?
No, you don't. They didn't need. No, they don't. No, they didn't need agreement to come here. Don't need return
Otherwise,
agreements.
anyone
That's
from
nonsense.
You're going to put them on a plane and then what?
Yep, absolutely.
Drop them back there.
Yep. Okay.
You're
Bye.
just going to land there. You're just going to land a plane in Iran.
I don't see why not.
Well, we've been doing that anyway lately. Anyway.
With all their airports closed, you're going to fly a plane in. And
well, it's closed at the moment.
Well, look, I mean, yeah, you might be right. We can't return them for some reason or this reason, human rights. But then we put them. We've got thousands of islands around. We can say, well, look, you've come here illegally. You can make your own way somewhere else, or you can live on this prison island that's like Alcatraz, and you won't be in our society causing us problems. It's just quite a simple solution.
Sounds good to me.
Thousands of people on a plane to a remote island with no.
Why not?
No,
they'd obviously be safe. They don't want to be where they come from.
We take them on a boat, and we had like internment camps that we had in the Second World War.
He keeps saying he's going to send them back to France. He can't do that.
So so what's the answer then, Kevin? That we just leave them here? Do we let them run free?
You can't sail a boat into French waters.
No, we'll put them in an internment. We'll put them in a camp.
But Kevin, can you just tell me what would you do then? So you let people just come here willy-nilly and let them roam free then and do nothing?
Well, for one thing, when we was in the EU...
Sorry, would you call me?
Pardon?
I thought you said my name.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I know your name's Phil.
Okay,
but anyway, when we was in the EU, we had access to the asylum seeker database. So if any asylum seeker had claimed asylum in a European country, we would know that they've already claimed asylum, and we wouldn't have to put them in go through the whole long process all over again.
Yeah, but then they had freedom of movement.
We don't have to do that anyway if we change our mind, if we become a sovereign nation.
Asylum seekers, was it? Asylum seekers, they claim asylum in a European country, and if it gets denied, they can't go and claim in another country because the other country would just look at the database and say, sorry, you've already...
Kevin, all of this is fascinating. Thank God we're not in the EU anymore. But can I just ask you didn't quite answer the question. So what would you do? Would you let people come here willy-nilly and just do whatever they want?
Well, it's not a case of letting them. What are you going to do if they come?
No, you're saying we can't return if we don't have return agreements. So what would you do then?
I'm saying what he's saying you can't do. Because
okay, fine.
Okay, but why can't we
do
what I said? Put them in an internment camp for the rest of their life. It's up to them to find somewhere else that they can go. But until then, they're not allowed to roam our streets. They're not going to get benefits. We'll give them a bit of food and water and accommodation on an island like Alcatraz.
another thing you keep saying,
but you haven't answered my cure to the problem. I mean, that's...
We don't treat them any better than they do in any other country. They still get fed and put...
They don't. In Belgium, they were 8 to a room and getting the minimum. Here, you get a 4-star hotel benefits.
No, you don't get a 4-star hotel.
Yes, you do. That's exactly what was happening.
Are you not seeing the news?
You think a 4-star hotels is going to have a load of asylum seekers?
You get 5... You get some of them are in 4-star, the medieval four-poster beds.
They're not going to get lobster and get massages and...
Good.
They don't get lobster. They get roast chicken. They get potatoes. They get all nice food. They might not be getting lobster. They get swan, don't they? Some of them.
Would you go to a hotel if it was full of asylum seekers?
Obviously not. Have you, Kevin? Have you ever been given a hotel room for free?
Pardon?
Have you ever been given a hotel room for free?
Well, no, because I'm not an asylum seeker.
No, but I think it's outrageous because you're obviously a taxpayer, and so why is it that our taxpayers' money is going on giving people free hotel rooms? I think that's terrible.
They'll all be on the street, won't they?
They shouldn't be here at all.
No, they don't need to be here at all.
They just don't need to be here at all.
We never used to have this problem.
No.
Oh, what, if somebody comes here, what would you do then?
Lock them up.
With people on it?
Lock them up as a criminal.
Instant imprisonment.
Lock them up as a criminal.
Well, yeah, we've got loads of prisons to put them in.
No, but we won't have a prison. As I said, we'll build it in internment camp.
Internment camp? It's not actually illegal to come here.
Yeah, but we'd make it illegal.
You can come here illegally, though.
It is actually illegal to just break through the border. That is illegal. They are.
No, what happened? It never used to be illegal, but the Conservatives, just at the end of their...
Of course it's illegal to break into a country. Of course it's always been illegal to break into the country.
They changed the law to say it was illegal.
Right, okay. So are you saying then in that case that if I decide to go to America but I don't want to go via an airport, I'll just sort of rock up in a dinghy, that's not illegal?
Well, you're not an asylum seeker. You wouldn't be able to get on the plane in the
Half of these morons who come over here aren't asylum seekers. They're chancers. We know
this. How are you going to get on the plane?
What do you mean?
If you went to Heathrow Airport...
Oh, I'm using it as an example, Kevin. Just go with the hypothetical. You seem to be working on hypotheses anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, I'm trying to arc...
You can do anything...
What are you talking about working on facts? You're saying that we can't deport people from our own country. Of course we can.
You can do whatever you want as a sovereign nation.
You would fly to America.
I said if I decided to rock up to America and I didn't want to go through airports or security or anything like that, I just sort of like rocked up on a dinghy or something like that and decided just to sort of waltz into the country. You don't think that's illegally breaking into a country?
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay, well then that's what they're doing here.
You can claim asylum because you're not an asylum seeker because you're coming from the UK.
And then half of the people that are coming here are not claiming asylum either. They're just trying their luck.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
People in the UK can't claim asylum because we're not being bombed.
They've not come from Iraq, they've come from France.
I was going to say France isn't dangerous.
They're coming from France and most of them stay in France. Only a few come here.
Well, only a few? You could have fooled me. There's new definitions of the word few I wasn't previously aware of.
Most other countries take a hell of a lot more than we do.
Oh, well, that's very good of them.
That's not actually true these days because they're all coming here now because we've got the best on offer.
We're their last chance.
We're the best ones. They don't get what they want.
Because they can only claim asylum in one country in the EU. So they come here because, well, they might as well come here.
Well, yeah,
why wouldn't you? They're going to say you get given a load of free handouts. It's lovely.
Yeah, but
at our expense.
As a sovereign nation, we can. As a sovereign nation, we can do whatever we want if we want to let them in.
Sorry, hang on. Sorry, can you just go back on that? They're not entitled to benefits. So what on earth do you think is paying for all of what they are given, whether it is mobile phones, education in some cases, days out? Of course they do. That is literally known. There's not even any denying that.
They get hospital.
Charities gave them mobile phones.
Okay, and then the medical treatment. You don't think that's a benefit?
Do you not think the hotels or the housing is a benefit? Do you not think the medical treatment, the dental care is a treatment?
One of them breaks their arm, or one of them.
Couldn't care less. Don't come in.
I don't know.
I could not care less.
If somebody breaks their arm, they shouldn't be able to use the NHS.
Not without paying for it. No, you're damn right I do. I think it's disgusting. Why the hell should I pay?
The country should pay for it, yeah.
I literally don't give a hoot about someone who's broken into this country.
Look, hundreds of years ago, if you break your arm, you fixed it yourself with a stick and a bit of a bandage.
Yeah, well, we're being taken back to the Dark Ages, might as well.
We've got to get rid of all these namby-pamby human rights.
Absolutely.
And this is where the problem is. Anyway,
Kevin, it's been fascinating as ever. Thank you.
It was interesting, but he will never back down, will he? No. He's always, he's
always right. 0344 499 1000 if you want to join in as well. Nigel's message says, "Evening, Ash and Phil. The UK is for UK citizens, and those we choose to allow to live here. We are blatantly allowing the wing of people to live. The wing of people? What do you mean? The wing of the wing people. I beg your pardon. The wing. I'm tired. I've been
the wing people.
The wing people to live here.
Who are the wing people?
And we blatantly know this. Who are the wing people?
The wing people.
Are they from like another planet or something?
I don't know. Sound interesting. Anyway. Are they like the Anunnaki?
Patriots should be able to opt out of funding stuff that's not on any government manifesto. Well, I like the sound of that.
Well, I think, you know, like if you mislead Parliament, you have to resign. I think if you mislead people with your manifesto, you should automatically, there should be a court and it should go back to the electorate. I mean, and this is why Nigel Farage said the manifesto will be a contract.
Apparently it should be wrong people, not wing people. Sorry. It does say wing, but apparently it should be wrong people. The wing people.
The wing people.
Anyway, 0344 499 1000. That's the number, isn't it?
Are we going to Larry in Colchester, or are we going to break?
Oh, should we
Let's go to Larry. Are we on a break?
Right. What are we doing? We keep him going. He's telling us.
Larry in Colchester. Lawrence.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah. Peace.
Good morning to your other guest.
Morning.
Good morning to your other guest. What is? Excuse me. What is wrong with everyone today?
Very hurtful, Phil.
Right. I've just done the last 3 nights of Late Show. I'm not a stranger. But anyway, well, hi, Lawrence. It's nice to see you. My name's Phil.
You want to talk about Starmer and violence against women?
Oh.
Well, I'm just taking a deep breath after that idiot that was just on. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, you're a father of 5, it says here, and a grandfather, so you've obviously got a lot of big stake in this society.
And no television licence.
It's what's going on with the country. Ash, it's just unbelievable.
And Phil.
I know.
But I've got 2 issues. Those asylum seekers, what they did is just unforgivable. They should bring back the death penalty for people like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. I mean, they raped this woman for a few hours, 3 of them, and then they went and had a celebratory barbecue, and today leaving court and grinning. And one of them turned out he was a murderer in Egypt on the run. That they found it in the court case, but they can't find out who's the murderers when they come over here. So obviously people on the run would come here.
Well, that's a typical Starmer government, isn't it? Now, I want to ask you a question about Starmer. Why do you think he's protecting all of this Peter Manderson lark? What do you think is going on there?
No idea,
he's
but
called the Prince of Darkness, isn't he? And he knew Epstein, and he has a lot on people. So I mean, there's a lot of speculation. But who knows?
One thing is for sure, I'm confident we don't know the full story. We can't possibly.
No doubt
how on earth could you possibly sort of like justify half of these actions? There must be something.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, what is it a case of maybe that he allegedly knows where the bodies are buried? I don't know.
Well,
I just
of course
don't understand
he will do, and I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we know the sort of person he is after 30 years. I wouldn't be surprised, but we have no evidence of that.
Totally.
There's a court case going on there, so we've got to be careful about that.
So let's not go down that route.
No, we got to.
Okay, well, that's my opinion. It's not talk radio.
But even then, I've got to say, Lawrence, even your opinion, we don't want to get you into trouble, so we can't do that.
We took that out anyway, Lawrence, because it is upcoming, that.
Yeah, okay, well, it's nice to talk to you both again.
Oh, nice to talk to you.
Especially you, Ash. No.
Go bye then. Well, he's been cut off now.
Really
especially to you. What's his
Janice? Yeah, Janice. What's up, man? Have you liked the show so far?
Janice, no one wants to talk to me.
I like the guy before. Oh, you're great, mate.
Oh, thanks.
Andre don't like me.
Does he not?
No, he doesn't. He don't like. I don't know. They just got off on the wrong foot and never liked.
Oh, she's a bit of a potty mouth.
Oh no, I'm joking.
No, you're right. He doesn't.
The guy before, what a bloody idiot.
What?
What a bloody idiot.
The Basingstoke.
She's a potty mouth. She's off again.
Sweden.
What?
Go and look at the state they're in.
Yeah, well, Sweden. Oh, yeah.
We've got the same thing.
It's worse there. The asylum seekers have to build their own furniture.
A candle, a blanket, and 3 squares. Out of Hebrides, mate. Stick them there.
Anyway, that's Janice. I'm fading it out like a record on a radio station.
It's nice,
and
actually. Yeah. Actually, no, because then you don't like to dip in, dip out. Isn't that how they used to do it on the radio stations, where they sort of talk over the track as it was fading out?
That was the latest from Janice in Essex. You're listening to Talk with Phil, Dave, and Ash, and we'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Blimey, do you know what? Ash has just shown me a video of someone, I don't know who that is, but I feel like I've had a horrible glimpse into my future.
Yeah, or your past even. No, it just
Oh, that's harsh. What's wrong with you?
It's me and Phil. Andre's off sick. We just take your calls. You've got Janice. Janice, you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm enjoying it.
Good, that's Janice. Let's go to Luke in Bromley.
Yay, hi guys.
All right.
Hello.
I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about electric cars.
Oh, it's Luke. How you doing, Luke? Luke's an entrepreneur, you know. Luke, yeah, he's a very successful entrepreneur.
What does a successful entrepreneur make of electric cars?
Yeah, what do you think about electric cars, then, Luke? Rubbish, aren't they?
There's people complaining that they feel sick in them. Have you heard that one?
What was that?
What?
As a passenger, you feel sick in them because basically...
Oh, yeah, no. So this is absolutely a thing. I tell you why. It's because the braking system is supposedly intelligent. So when you lift your foot... when you lift your foot off the accelerator, it starts to brake itself.
When you get those Uber drivers that do that and you start getting seasick, don't you?
Oh, no, I don't.
I hate that.
That's awful.
Your inner ear senses motion, but
your cochlea. Your cochlea.
Yeah, something like that. So it cocks up. So basically, you get nausea.
That can happen as well.
Because that would make you feel sick as well, wouldn't it?
Mainly in diesel cars.
If the driver does that.
Do you know in London we had in the 1870s we had a electric car. We had an electric car, a taxi, that would go 35-mile range, and then they take it back, to the base and just change the battery. Now, if we had electric cars where you drove into your BP or Shell garage, you drove over a little square and the machine came out, pulled the battery out and put another one in, and you also filled up within a minute or two, and you paid whatever it cost.
That's quite a clever idea.
And then that would make it the same as petrol. But this plugging in is so last century. Even the last century we had battery changing. So this is the wrong way we're going about it.
Electric.
You what?
all right, the milk floats were electric. We had electric.
They were amazing, weren't they, the milkmen?
Yeah, and all the milk was put into recyclable bottles.
And you used to leave the money for the milkman outside, and no one would nick it. And sometimes the robins would come and poke holes in the foil.
Also, if neighbour was okay or not, because if the milk was still out, you think, well, why? What's up?
That's true.
And you'd have
that's true. Actually, it was an indicator, wasn't it?
It wasn't homogenised. You'd have a little cream on, and they deliver yogurts and orange.
If you really fancy, you had orange juice from it as well, didn't you?
And they used to drive down the road, didn't they? And you wouldn't hear anything apart from the bottles going tick-a-ding, ding, ding, tick-a-ding.
I don't know if I missed that sound or not. Actually, that was quite annoying. If you think about it.
Yeah, right. Actually, it's good they've gone. That was annoying, those bottles.
Yeah. So
good riddance.
Electric vehicles are not the future.
They're not the past. Not as they are. And also, all these people going on how great, and they're all, lefty, greeny. They don't mind slave kids being poisoned down mines in Africa, do they?
And apart from anything, you know what? Think of the factories that put those electric vehicles together. You're not going to tell me they run on electricity. They must be really bad for the environment.
No, they work on coal. But
there you go.
What you got is you got a problem with depreciation as well. You buy an electric car, it depreciates by about half its
It's
value.
a disposable vehicle. It's disposable. You can't sell a car when it's 5 years old that needs a 40 grand battery for a 3 grand car.
And then the other thing is obviously China trying to take over. There's 130 Chinese car companies all fighting against each other, trying to bring the price down.
And they're good, aren't they? When I've seen them, you press a button and all these screens come out and these things go, and they've got some good ideas, haven't they? But
Yeah, and they feed back all the information about you.
Yeah, they do. They said don't ever plug your phone in the USB in one of those cars.
Oh, they know.
They've got
mics all over the place and cameras anyway. They know exactly where you're going.
Well, they got their super dungeon that's about to be built, haven't they?
So, as an entrepreneur, Luke, what car do you drive?
I drive a Volvo XC40. It's a nice
Good work. Yeah, I like Volvos. They're nice cars.
Is it an old one?
No. It's a brand new one. It's a hybrid. It's called a mild hybrid, so it's part electric, just to get.
Now, do you know what? Can we talk? Because actually, hybrid to me makes perfect sense.
Is it a plug-in hybrid?
No.
Because it self-charges.
Self-charges.
Petrol. It's petrol.
So the petrol.
Yeah, but you get plug-in hybrids as well now.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, this one charges itself up a little bit, but it's only just to give it a bit of a boost at the lights and that.
Do you have your own driveway, Luke?
We have our own parking areas, yeah.
You see, the thing is, if you've got your own driveway, it's cheap as chips. But if you have to put it on the ones outside, it's more expensive than petrol these days, some of them.
Oh, sure, that's right. You know what? Insurance is more. If you park on a driveway, insurance is more.
Yeah, because it might burn your house down. It's much more risk of burning your house down. Also, if you hit someone, they're about a third more heavier. They had to change car parts because of the weight of these things.
Well,
You've also got more pollution.
Also look at the state of the roads as well.
Brakes
this is why.
give off more, metals because the brakes have to be more powerful. The rubber gives. Anyway, thanks, Luke.
Janice, have you ever been hit by an electric car?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go on.
Well, can you answer the question first?
I'm not going to be here for too long.
Oh, no, right, that's very sad news.
I would like to be in 5-10 years' time when the robots hit you from China, where cars are already parking up the EV things because they're going to run everything by robots. So all of you, Ash won't be out of a job because no one can replace his voice.
A robot can't do this.
So what you're saying is I'll be out of a job, though?
Yeah, because a robot could do what you do, couldn't it? Yeah.
I'm being attacked this evening. This is shocking.
Because my hair's hard enough for a robot to recreate.
Gary said a message, hasn't what he saying?
Gary says, regarding your caller, Kevin, I don't care if anyone classes me as far right. I don't want any more migrants in the UK. I don't care where they go or their reason for coming. Send them... Well, I won't say we send them all one way from Gary in Glasgow. Nice one, Gary.
Yeah.
Evening, Ash and Phil. The UK is for UK citizens and those we choose to allow to live here. We are blatantly allowing the wing... Oh, we
did that one. The wing men. Yeah, the wing people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, let's go to...
So, and you know what, Janice, you never did actually answer the question. Can we just double check that? Sorry, before we get to Heather.
Oh, yeah, Janice.
Have you ever been hit by an electric vehicle?
I haven't driven a car for a little while. I've driven drugs.
No, I didn't.
You've done drugs.
I didn't know.
Well, hold on, Janice.
Hang on, what?
Janice, Heather's here. Heather.
Hi, Heather.
What?
Hiya.
Heather's in Govan. Janice, Heather, Janice.
Janice?
Hi, love. Nice to
What do
speak to
you
you,
reckon
lady.
to that Pinocchio Prime Minister calling us plastic patriots?
I know. I know. Very hurtful.
Oh, blooming heck.
Well, you've upset Janice now, Heather. Come on.
No, you haven't.
Oh, okay.
No, you haven't. Of course you haven't. Nothing upsets me anymore.
We're patriotic to our country. There's nothing wrong with being patriotic to our country. And he's calling us plastic patriotic. I'm going to call him Pinocchio.
$1.6 billion a day plastic, love.
We're not plastic.
This is the Late Show with Janice and Heather.
Just do another 3 odd minutes.
Yeah. Keep it going. We'll chill out for a bit.
Because tell you one thing about that Pinocchio Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
Isn't that a bit of an insult to Pinocchio?
Tell you one thing about his, his cabinet.
Hang on, who are you? Sorry, Brian, what's his chops? It's a puppet. What do you mean? Connolly, that's Brian Connolly. It's a puppet.
Brian Connolly?
Was it Brian Connolly?
Or someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
It sounds like it to me, Bob, with the cabinet and with the knives out, like the movie, stabbing him in the back.
Yeah, but there's no one to follow him. It's all going to be worse. I mean, I don't know if it's worse, but it'll be just as bad.
Well, he's going to be out anyway because even his people turning his back against him for what's going on.
Right, yeah.
And
Janice.
Everything's going to pot here, so it's about time Kenny Bacon needs to...
Can I please say something?
Yeah, Janice.
I doubt it, but you can give it a try if you want.
Heather, can Janice say
Heather.
He's fighting for this country. He's fighting to run it into the ground.
Oh, that's quite the accusation.
That's what he's doing. And Kemi Bacon, she needs to put...
Who's Bacon? Hang on. Who's Kemi
Bacon?
A vote no confidence in the government and call for a general election.
Hang on. Is this a new show on Channel 4? Who's Kemi Bake-Off? What?
She got the new show.
Bacon-off.
Anyway, look, thanks for your calls. Stay there, Janice.
Yes,
we got, is Natalie there?
Should we try? Because hopefully Natalie will restore some
Natalie,
sanity.
is she?
Hi, Natalie.
Natalie in Haverhill in Suffolk.
Natalie, turn your radio or your TV off.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. We want to hear you.
Oh, hang on.
I was enjoying it. It sounded like a good show.
It sounds a good show, the batter. Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah.
Right, we're just waiting for Natalie.
Come on, Natalie.
Make sure you stay tuned because coming up after this is Benedict Fletcher, isn't it? Hi, Natalie.
No, it's not Ben Fletcher yet. It's Paul Ross tonight.
It's Paul Ross.
Yeah,
Don't forget, it's Paul Ross. Benedict Fletcher's tomorrow. Paul Ross, amazing show. He might come in here sometimes.
Talk Sport Extra Time right after this, and then Ian Collins returns to the air.
Ian Collins in the morning.
Yeah, he's in for Mark Dolan tomorrow, isn't he?
In for me. Yeah, that's right. And then Dolan a bit. It's all a bit hodgepodge.
It's a bit over the place.
Natalie in Haverhill.
Hello.
Hi.
Morning.
Oh, I just want to speak about the fact that they've shut in a mother and baby home in Suffolk.
Gracious.
And they said they're going to put army men in there and people from the street, but I don't believe them. I think they're going to put illegal.
I agree. I don't believe. That's the thing. We've lost trust, haven't we? You'd always think, well, they're lying about that, aren't they? Well, a Riverside group apparently shutting it. Well, you keep your eye on it, and if they are lying, we'll soon know about it, won't we?
Well, I don't understand it. They shut it about 18 months ago, and where have they put all their mother and babies? And all they're saying is, before that, they're saying today that mother and babies, the babies have been dying in dilapidated hostels.
Well, I mean, we don't know about this, but this is, we should look into that. Is that in your local papers, is it, Natalie?
No.
How do you know about all this?
Well, what, you've not heard about it on the news today?
Well, no, that's why we're asking. Where did you hear it?
Have died in hostels.
No, but that's Natalie. But just all we want to know is where you heard it. Natalie, all we're asking is where did you hear it? We're not saying it's not true. We just don't know. Where did you hear it? Who has? Sorry, where did you hear it? It's on the TV. Okay. Which channel?
It might have been on your local station. I mean, it sounds like a big story, though. We will have a look.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, I haven't necessarily heard of it. Janice, are you still
Janice, you got a minute? So what's